A few days ago on my community tab, I asked my followers, I had one day where I was going to make a video and they could pick the video that I was going to make. But they chose the one that I knew off the bat was going to take more than a day. Like, it took a day in itself to simply download all the videos off the internet. This is the video. I tried to be as time efficient as I can, so I haven't even bothered to like record my physical self for the video. Just the audio into my microphone, just because it saves a lot of time. For eligibility purposes, this is what the eligibility is for what I'm counting as a hit. So if there's a song that isn't on the list that you think should be, or if there's a song that is on the list that you think shouldn't be, well, here's your reason why. It either fit or didn't fit these categories. And I am being very stringent with it, as I always am. And it does mean that Murder on the Dance Floor is not going to be on this video because it was on 2001 and 2002's year-end list. So with all that out the way, time for my worst hit song of 2024.
Oh, why'd you get me so high to leave me so low?
I do not hold any hate towards Miles Smith as a person. I actually really like his story, how he actually was having a pretty good living for himself in his early 20s as a diversity and inclusion officer in the UK. But then he decided he was going to take a risk, make his side hobby his main hobby. He just felt there was something missing in his life. And I do respect that he managed to get to the level that he has. But good fucking god, I cannot stand his music, especially this one, which is the song that got him signed.
But you know you got me lost in the dark, is it too late?
The revival of indie pop in 2024 was my least favourite trend of the year, because the songs that got popular was just so boring and one note. And this one takes that to another level. There's no rough qualities at all. Everything is so polished, soulless, devoid. Nothing really clever or insightful about the lyrics, unless if you like that obnoxious so low play of words. But there's nothing I want to listen to less. It's such a dreck. As a lot of you would know by now, I used to produce music before I moved to doing this. So I do always really like it when artists show and reveal the actual music making process of their songs. And there's this variety video out there where Bryan explains the creation of Counting Stars and this song. And I was never mad keen on Counting Stars, but his explanation on how it was made is really quite something. He's so passionate talking about it, how he had to go to different countries to simply record different aspects of the song, even hiring the people he had available as a harpist in there, a Grecian harpist. Anyway, here are some of the highlights for the David Guetta segment.
David Guetta, he was like realizing how many of the songs from the late 90s and 2000s, like combing through all of them going, what else could have breathe new life into? That verse melody, David had the brilliant idea of taking that, making it a chorus. Like, that was kind of it. It's cheesy. He's like, it's a big song, but it's almost so obvious that like it runs the risk of being just too swinging for it, pop, corny. This took me like 6 months or longer to come around on. My first instinct was no, not doing it. My shamelessness surrounding hits, I do have certain lines I can't cross, and this song continually was across that line for me. By the way, it was also across the line for David. Just commit to it and like go so far past almost corniness that it's cool. And that's where we got to this.
And that does reveal a few things. Mostly it reveals the reason as to why Ryan Tedder sounds so bored and disinterested on the song. Probably because he was having a lot of doubts in making it, because even he thought it was a corny, lame idea. And he also revealed that David Guetta has been combing through these old songs, trying to find which one can be a commercial hit, which one he can redo. Because I'm Good was such a big success, such a big chart success, and it's got to the point where people like me who didn't even mind that song that much are so fed up by the third effort, or should I say third non-effort. Especially because this one was even bigger than Baby Don't Hurt Me, and is definitely worse because at least that one had a pop rap verse and Coin Array that was admittedly like a change of pace for the song. But I think this may actually be a new low point for Guetta, either that or that Man in Finance thing from this year as well.
You wanna guess the color of my...
I had a really great 2024. It was a lot of fun to go out and touch grass, but you've always got to come back inside every now and again. And when I saw that this was like one of the most critically acclaimed hits of the year, my jaw just dropped. I mean, it was my least favorite song on Brat, and that was before this even worse remix with Billie Eilish. And I'm kind of at a loss because to me this is really obviously bad. It sounds like a David Guetta remix of Satisfaction by Benny Benassi, and yet there is a David Guetta remix of Satisfaction by Benny Benassi, and it's somehow better than this. And what makes even less sense is that even if this is like LCD sound system like appreciation, the guy who made the song, the Dare, had his own project that was a lot more loyal to that sound, and the critics didn't like that one, but they liked this. I'm pretty certain the critical appraisal for this runs incredibly shallow, but you've also got to remember that this kind of dumb as hell, flirtatious dance music, like, it had its peak about 25 years ago, and every single song, even the shit ones, are better than this, because this one is just so fucking dull. And also, maybe I just have a bit of self-hatred and I hate the sound of posh English people, because when Charlie XCX does this vocal tone thing, it's just not for me.
I got going on down there. Is it pretty in pink?
But Billie Eilish sounds even worse. I think this is the worst song she's ever featured on, and it's so obvious how little chemistry they have when they play the vocal chop bit towards the end of the song. Like, it just does not fit even the slightest. The only real defense that I can buy for this is that is Billie exploring her lesbian side, which is fine. But there was no other song this year that got critical appraisal that I do not understand the slightest bit. You're pissing on my legs so much that I'm drowning. Actually, wait a minute. Obnoxious, simple beat. Annoying, gross, female accent, talking. I mean, this is just Man in Finance for people who are too good for that song.
I'm looking for a man in finance. Trust fund, 6'5", blue eyes. Finance, trust fund, 6'5".
I mean, it is. Okay, it's like not that bad, but like they're pretty much the same kind of thing. Although at least one is more obviously a joke than the other.
It's laying in dead grass, stare at the stars, run away.
Scared to Start is a song for the adventurers, the travelers, and the people who look forward without dwelling on the uncertainties of life. It's about taking the risks and putting yourself out of your comfort zone, regardless of what the rest of the world has to say. Fuck yeah, fuck societal standards, let's go!
Don't you wait to try.
Oh, my bad, I forgot this was the most boring song in the universe. This is a song for people who dream about escaping their lives, but they never actually will. And that's certainly not the point of the song.
You leave, just give me one more night, 'cause there's
The fact that was the vocal take they left in, the big ecstatic shout, can't afford to be big and ecstatic because the whole thing is too drab for that. They definitely mixed the vocal to sit as well as it could over the most tepid, boring instrumental to hit the UK top 10 this year. A 4-chord acoustic sound, a platonic melody, a vocal that sounds like an obnoxious Noah Khan, which is just the critically correct way to say that it sounds like an annoying passenger. 2024 was a great year to be a female pop star who just so happened to look like a Victoria's Secret model with abs, but out of all of those pop stars, Grace Abrams is the one who seems to justify her existence the least. Like, I don't normally give a shit about nepotism. I mean, the #1 song in the UK as I record this is by someone who's apparently a nepo baby, and I don't care, but in this case I kind of do care, like when the artist offers this little. And at least with the 2 other hits that are eligible in this video, I could kind of get some appeal with the lyrics, but this one just completely escapes me. It kind of sounds like it was written by like a 13, 14-year-old, sort of having a lot of hot feelings for the hot guy in her class, overcompensating with all these ridiculous like lyrical flourishes, but when you actually look at the lyrics, they're really not impressive at all. Also, the beat's really bad. It's produced by someone who doesn't normally do synth pop, and he's tried to make it sound really like flat and really feathery. So it's a very generic, very bad song, and then you have the vocals, which are so intimate, it's like she's tonguing my eardrum.
You should be mine for life. I'll be signing every dotted line.
At least with this one, I can see an excuse. I mean, it's an album called Brat, and this is the one with the brattiest lyrics. But it's also, without a doubt, the most unlistenable song of the entire year. a vague interpolation of Body Rocks' annoying Yeah Yeah song, but also combining it with the kind of production elements from fucking Bass Down Low, the screechy, horrible synth that sounds like Formula 1 car that's about to crash. But what really lets the song down is the percussion. It's so muffled, it's so weak. So you got this screeching tire sound and there's nothing to play off it at all. Once again, I have to ask, how the hell is this a hot take? What do you get when you combine a TikTok fitness influencer boxer who flaunts his relationship all over the timeline with a 16-year-old child? You get New Era, an absolutely terrible Irish house act who plagued the charts this year with this one extremely annoying song. Maybe the kind of country twinged tang in the pitched vocal was part of the reason this song caught on. To me, it reminds me a lot of those Joel Corey songs we got leading up to the pandemic, like Lonely and Sorry. Just a very, very weak, very generic production. Either way, it's a good representation of how terrible the state of charting electronic dance music was in 2024, compared to 2023, which is excellent. It was such a massive fall off.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
Another unfortunate example of an artist who has a great backstory but just makes a load of terrible music. Cyril was a homeless drug addict about 7-8 years ago, and now he's managed to reach an incredible level of success, partly helping to revive the relevance of the Spinning Records record label as well, by getting 2 massive international global hits, and I don't consider either of them good, but this one, it really is quite baffling. A reverb-drenched, sort of chill house remix of Disturbed's cover of The Sound of Silence, where he seemingly puts in about as much effort as Robin Schulz did for those remixes about 10 years ago, but the actual choice of percussion that he's using is considerably weaker, considerably thinner, and it gets to the part where the lead singer absolutely screams and he just doesn't know what to do with it, so he just drops everything out and just lets the a cappella vocal just play.
An echo in the wells of silence, and the people bowed and prayed to the neon god.
It's another one that really baffles the mind how it managed to catch on. Not even sure if this is Cyril's worst song. Go check out some of his other stuff if you want to waste a few minutes looking at something funny though.
I'm vanilla, baby. I'll choke you, but I ain't no killer, baby.
Man, remember Jack Harlow? God, more of this shit. It's just like the vocal, I just don't get it. It's so like devoid, it's so characterless. But I'll tell you what really annoys me about this song now, it's that fucking like piano that just plays the first chord again and again. Like it comes in the first pre-chorus, and then I don't think it goes away for the rest of the song. It's just bum 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 bum.
Take my heart, don't break it. You and I stargazing. I lose my mind. Oh, don't let me go.
A song with stadium chants as a hit this year. Gosh, bloody nostalgia cycle, am I right? Well, to be honest, I think the beats of this song is alright, but I just don't get why anyone would want to listen to this, and I think anyone defending it would look like a complete idiot. Okay, so there are some songs on this list that would have repeated from the 2023 ranking, and I'm just going to include what I said in those segments because most of them were fully edited anyway. So I know I've recorded most of this just without my face, but my face is going to come in with this next one. The sound of Instagram travel reels. They're haunting me. They're haunting me. We got a real interesting case of this one. First charted 1 week back in February 2023, right down at 98. Then it disappeared from the main chart, but stuck around on the indie charts for about half a year before getting a resurgence back onto the singles chart in autumn, where it got its silver certification. Then it continued charting into 2024, breaking the top 40, and it's on the charts as I write this. It's looking like it'll break the record for the longest standard chart ratio run of all time, and even has a good shot of actually making 2024's year-end top 100, despite not peaking any higher than I think like 36, 37. It's unprecedented, and even more so for such a random track, being a 1 minute 30-second introduction to an obscure Colorado Springs folk rock band's debut album dating back to May 2017. I have no clue who found this song and helped it go viral in the first place, and I have less of a clue as to why they chose this one and why we all just let this one go viral. I was being a little bit serious with the Instagram thing. It's supposed to be about seeking adventure. It has a bustling shuffle groove with its snare strokes and rhythmical guitars. It's trying to sound like a steam train, but the actual playing is so offbeat and just all around sounds really really bad. I find this an incredibly infuriating listen. The metaphorical train is barely keeping going. The coal supply is running low. And I don't know, maybe that's why people like it, but I doubt it. Is your holiday escapism soundtracked by this very clunky, grooveless first recording take? More importantly, the song is so short and just kind of ends. At best, it sounds like a holiday park advert. At worst, it sounds like the incompetence of the instrumentalists is unwittingly self-sabotaging their desired escapism. Either way, it's too novel and unusual to be completely worthless, but there has to be better out there with this sound. There is no reason as to why this has been doing as well as it has.
Feels like I'm falling in love.
When I was at school and it rained, we used to have to stay in for wet play. And when it was cold, we used to have to stay in and listen to this really dull band.
I'm a wild ride that never stops. I'm a hard case that can't.
I feel like there's this kind of charisma that you need to really pull off a song like this, and it's especially not great to have it over this kind of dated late 2010s pop trap production. This is her worst hit to date.
Just keep watching. Just keep watching. You don't want this heart, but it's already broke. Now I'm down bad, crying at the gym. Everything comes out tea.
I Could Do It With a Broken Heart was a song that I was originally going to put very high on that summer ranking video, as I mentioned, but you know how I said the more I listened to it, the more annoyed I got with it, to the point where it was bottom 5 in the end. This song was even more extreme with that. I don't even know why, but I had this as one of the 100 best charting songs of the year for a lot of the year. I genuinely don't know what I was thinking, because now, especially after so many listens for this video, as I've given a lot of these songs several listens to get used to them, nah, this is just terrible. I think maybe because Taylor Swift is a good writer that I thought I'd give her the benefit of the doubt without actually really listening to the song lyrics.
Might stay down bad, I lost my twin.
Because there's this awful appropriation of modern slang terms for the chorus. But also there's just this terrible metaphor of alien abduction.
Did you really beat me up in a cloud of sparkling dust just to do experiments on? I loved your hostile takeovers, encounters closer and closer.
An absolutely terrible 4-chord instrumental from Jack Antonoff. And frankly really disappointing vocals from a vocalist who is generally pretty good. And please don't murder me, any Swifties. We are going to have a few more Taylor songs that I don't like, but as mentioned, there are quite a few that I do. So stick around later on for them.
I'ma take a bougie ass to Rodeo and then let her pick up whatever she want. CC Gucci Hippo take a.
Why, do you ask? I can think of a few reasons. I mean, the song sounds very squeaky in the production. The thing that really gets to me is that horribly pitched triangle that plays in the right ear.
I'ma take a bougie.
It's so loud and jarring. Also, I think I get what he's trying to do with the vocal tone. I think he's trying to do a sexual sort of domination thing, but it sounds so goofy next to these very submissive lyrics.
You my little boo thing, so I'll give a hoot what you do.
Keep my tainted legacy out your fucking mouth.
All we know is red rum, red rum, red rum, red rum, red rum.
God, I've just had it with this guy. I always thought there was something missing Maybe I just didn't get it, and maybe that could still be the case. But I mean, I didn't think his album was bad, but it feels like any appeal that 21 Savage had has just got lost with how mainstream he's become. Like, you could buy that he was a tough gangster at first with that sort of very mumbly, very incoherent delivery. He's sort of sharpened his delivery up a little bit, but now he just sounds woefully boring, including this song too. And I have seen some decent defenses of it, which is why it's not in the terrible tier anymore. It was going to be much lower. I think if you translate the sample, it plays off the content pretty well.
I had made the beat with London on the track. This one was one of those ones that was just like a 10-minute quick beat. I went on YouTube and I was looking for just something cool. Like I looked up like European lady singing, like literally I'll be like Brazilian lady singing, and then I think that's how that came about. We made that beat really fast, that's why the beat's simple.
Outside of playing the sample for a full minute, this song is an incredibly boring, incredibly easy to produce hardcore hip-hop song, and I've heard so many hardcore hip-hop songs that are 1,000 times better than this. Thank goodness the Kendrick Lamar Drake beef happened and hip-hop got better. I could not live with this being one of the more acclaimed hip-hop hits of the year. It's just so dated.
I don't hang with rats, that's some new type shit.
I didn't really mind We Don't Trust You as an album. It's okay, but it is funny if you do pay attention to the content and see Future enter his old man phase, alongside a lot of really fucking pervy and gross bars that he definitely gets away with because no one understands what the fuck he's saying. But the fact that he's looking at the current scene and basically whining about it, considering his influence on it, is very funny. Anyway, the song is kind of awful for the most part. The repeated vocal melody that all the artists put on is just extremely obnoxious, and those detuned bells just sound so like poorly integrated. It's not in the terrible tier though, because the switch up when Travis comes in is not that creative, but it's decently cool. But otherwise, this is a clear skip.
Stuck between my anger and the blame that I can't face, the memories or something, even smoking weed.
Contemporary critics have always been pretty harsh towards Mumford & Sons. I hope they realise that it could be much worse and even more annoying. He's literally just Mumford & Grandsons' most overrated song of the year. Biggest debuting single of the entire year, believe it or not. People have made defenses for the song's content and the song's attitude, but no one's been able to defend how this song just sucks as a song. Eminem's flow may technically be good on the song, but it's pitched quite low into the mix, and it's also frankly one of the weakest choruses he's ever shot out. I'm well beyond the point of loving Kygo. It took 10 years, but he did it. Kygo made me a Kygo hater. Sorry. And he did it by pushing songs that rinsed and repeated the 2014 breakout sound, except for where he added vocal chops that one time. And now when I hear a Kygo song out in the wild, it brings back bad memories of nauseating overcompression and the Amazon Warehouse playlist I had to listen to back in 2020. Any admiration or sonic image of fun at a tropical beach I used to have listening to his music has evaporated, and a 4-chord rendition of Cloud 9 that interpolates a classic Shakira song with the acoustic guitar reminiscent of Avicii's True era, it makes me feel freezing. Shout out to Kygo's Spotify bio for calling him a forward-thinking producer, even beyond repeating the sound ad infinitum. We had a popular Tropical House remake of Wherever Wherever back in 2018 with Crisscross Amsterdam and Conor Maynard, and I genuinely think that one is better than this. Like, the awful sidechain compression isn't present on this one, but I think the self-seriousness of Whatever, despite the goofy interpolation of such a goofy song, is what annoys me the most about it. The fun flirtiness of the original is swapped out for a strong, serious message about ending a relationship and finding strength in independence, and it's just no fun. Even that Conor Maynard one was at least bouncy enough and chirpy enough to be joyful. This is just boring, upper lip professionalism, when a song with this sound could do with being much looser. Please, please. It can feel quite easy to come off like a bit of a dolt when you're criticizing Sabrina Carpenter's modern music. I didn't like Short and Sweet, but I finally get what the appeal is. I get what she offers. I get why she's so big. She's the female equivalent of a fuckboy is basically what that album is. And I don't think the kind of tee-hee attitude of this song works at all, because it's just so clear that it's being used as an excuse to to sort of soften how she really feels. And how she really feels is the same way that, you know, Liam Hemsworth would feel about Miley Cyrus. Like, this song is just the musical equivalent of those clips of him being very embarrassed of being around her, and it kind of makes you feel a bit sick.
Heartbreak is one thing, my ego's another. I beg you don't embarrass me, motherfucker.
Like, fuck off. I'll give the song it was unique. And it was definitely the strangest #1 hit of the year. And I appreciated Strange in our hits this year, but I really struggled to appreciate this one. The synths that sound like they're from like a rip-off of a Disney film, and then you get the thin, weedy guitars come in and it feels like you're being smacked in the head. And don't count out Sabrina Carpenter's vocals, like when she does the harmonies at the very end of the chorus.
Please, please, please.
Oh, it's awful.
I'm not in a mood, cause my flight delayed. So I jumped on a private jet and I'm
In 2022, I mentioned that UK hip-hop was in a concerning place, and that fully came to fruition. Most of the acts, even the ones back then who were kind of big and weren't even that big, they've all fallen off. And only the biggest of the big have managed to continue chart success going into this year. We're going into a real slump for commercial hip-hop in the UK, but it may not seem like that if you just follow Central C, who has managed to get bigger and bigger, defy all the odds, leave a lot of his past enemies in the dust, and make huge international waves by making extremely embarrassing music, especially in 2024.
You put on your best fit to the club tonight. You're trying to find someone to take you home and show you love. If nobody else will, then I will. On your social media ranting, slid up and replied to your story. You ain't responded, I wanna unsend it. Got me stalking your Facebook page, I'm preying your friends list. So that you followed a fellow acquaintance. You ain't even mind you, I'm feeling envious.
But I think that this was the worst song that he charted this year. It just doesn't work.
Quarter mil for the Maybach truck.
Double R with the factory rims. I got the 90, the years, the versions, the bribes, I'm really a threat.
Lil Baby rapping next to Central C kind of sounds like the Shy Ronnie sketch that the Lonely Island made. Central C's crystal clear vocals pressed against this mumbling, droning fool. And even then, Central C isn't that good either. Like, normally he doesn't write lyrics that are this focused on his luxuries and shit. It just continues the pattern of C's biggest hits being his worst songs. Essentially, to sum it up,
it's got to the point that I don't even care.
And
I get right under their skin, I don't even try, I guess.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself.
From the screen, from the screen, from the screen, from the screen, from the screen.
Best meme of the year. What's great about this is you get to make fun of a bad song and not even feel bad for the person behind it, because they ended up making a lot of money from it. And because I'm a special contrarian, the reason I dislike it isn't the reason why you dislike it, because I know you dislike it because to you this sounds like a song from 10 years ago. However, you do realize that 2024 has been full of songs that sound like they were released 10 years ago, right? I think the melodies are pretty strong. I don't even really hate listening to it. Plus, KSI sticks in the correct register. He doesn't sound like a 10-year-old choir boy like he does on other songs where he sings. And because he's always towed the line between pop and hip-hop, I also don't really care that the lyrics are that vain. I mean, oh, whoa, whoa, that's how the story goes is, yeah, that's quite funny. Like, it's a very funny bad. But what really makes this stink for me is the production. The production is terrible. It's so overcompressed, and I'd say it's dated not to 10 years ago, but to like 3 years ago. It makes me go, wait, what happened to Polo G?
To the pen, to the king. Where's my crown? That's my bling. Always drama when I ring. See,
Like, I see some people say that KSI made this song bad deliberately, which I do not buy at all. It sounds more like he made a song that he thought was good, but he just picked up from where he dropped his career off like 2-3 years ago when this sound was still kind of relevant. It's a similar critique I've got to Some Days, really, just for a pop trap song instead of a piano house song. The continued success of Jazzy is just so depressing. In fact, I think there was an article that came out maybe in 2024, maybe 2023, where she kind of admitted that it was her who stole the song. But either way, like, my dislike for this song is not anything to do with that. It's just because she is a featureless, boring as hell vocalist. And I'm also very disappointed in both Sonny Fodera and DOD, who are two mainstream producers I kind of like. But this dated as hell piano house song is rubbish. Do you want commentary for this? Do you want me to come up with something to say for this?
It's not so bad.
Some of you probably think it's a bit silly to have this song so high. I mean, listen to it. Two defenses. First of all, I actually think the kick drum on this sounds pretty damn good. Second of all, it's just too fucking funny. I've had a lot of enjoyment listening to this song because it's that kind of terrible.
I'm so depressed, I act like it's my birthday.
As mentioned before, firstly, the instrumental is just annoying. It's badly mixed, it's chirpy, it just sounds unfinished like so much of Jack Antonoff's stuff. But also, the lyrics are kind of just the subtext of Anti-Hero explained in this obnoxiously simplistic tone, like we missed the meaning the first time.
Got a 2 for 1 here because we have someone who also has a pretty amazing backstory, was also homeless at one point in his life and very quickly managed to make a lot of money, but he did so by making stuff such as, caught my best friends doing this, they kissed for the first time, they've never done this on camera. And I guess he just had like a guitar lying around the entire time, so he decided to become like a folk pop artist inspired by Ed Sheeran and Shawn Mendes, which aren't bad inspirations to have, but you listen to his album and you can tell he only cares about like the bad generic songs, and there's just not too much inspiration to a lot of his music. I actually think he's one of the worst artists who's consistently charting right now. Also one of the worst singers on the charts right now. Like, I compare him to Key & Crow, but that feels like an insult to Key & Crow. Maybe I could be over my head, but something's just missing from his voice. Either way, as songs, neither of these are very good. Like, the top comment under Before You Leave Me said it's very Greatest Showman coded, and if you've been around for a while, you know what I think of that. Carry You Home is most of what I dislike about the current pop folk trend, just very simple lyrics, very simple music. I mean, there are some slight little artifacts in there, like it's a little rough in places, but other than that, it could not be more like 3 out of 10. I'm pleading though that his song Burning Down gets caught between years, because that is genuinely one of the worst songs of the decade. Back when I became the so far first person to give a mixed review of Chappell Rowan's Rise and Fall of the Midwest Princess, I said that I hope for her own sake that this song didn't hit the top 5, and it did, and I don't know, was I right? Was I right that maybe? I get it, I know this song is a cheerleading anthem, it's supposed to be a little bit obnoxious, a little bit out there. It's not supposed to be quaint, but it is everyone's least favourite Chappell Rowan hit for a reason. But honestly, it's not even that. That's not why it's in the bad tier. It's in the bad tier because Dan Nigo's instincts are using the exact same blib blib blob blob synth presets on all of the songs. Just kind of didn't ruin the album. It's not a bad album. It's like a 6, but makes any kind of semblance to this is saving pop music feel extremely hollow. We really do not need more popular songs in the 2020s that sound like this.
2 August ago, I told the truth, oh, but you...
Just that voice, it gets under my skin so much. Valley Girl Lord. I guess it's apt how kind of pointless this song sounds, because it's kind of a pointless song. I mean, it's about like these 2 people who are doing pretty well for themselves, but one of them is just looking back at the old relationship from 2 years ago and still has like a little tinge of feeling there. And like, I get that kind of lyrical conceit. It's a little different, but it's presented in a way that matches the boring music a bit too well. Here's a song where I feel Taylor's pen is really lacking, and it doesn't make up for the terrible, sandy, obnoxious production from Jack Antonoff that we've known to hate and hate.
It's a knife and you know they're waiting for you to choke.
It's going to be hard to believe from this video, but I actually thought the remix album to Brat was better than the original. But no song got a worse treatment than Sympathy is the Knife, which was probably the best song on the original album and one of the best charting songs of the year. A remix so bad that it makes me wonder if the original was all that good to begin with. She takes a song about extreme personal hatred instead talking about hatred she's getting from other people and fans, but she does it in the most level 1 way as well.
It's a knife when you're finally on top, 'cause logically the next step is they wanna see you fall.
Mind-blowing levels of originality with that lyric. Also, what does sympathy is a knife mean in this context? Like, how can sympathy be a knife when there's no sympathy being given on this song? At least the beat's good, though. This is the best year-end hit Ella Henderson has had this decade. She's just that bad now.
Oh, I love it and I hate it at the same time. You and I drink the poison from the same.
Oh, I knew this one would, like, get worse the longer it stuck around, and because it stuck around for a while, it got a lot worse. Just add some specifics, David Kushner. What are you talking about? And that final chorus with all that noise. I still quite like the metallic ring that rings out throughout the song, though.
This ain't Texas, ain't no hold'em. Lay our cards down.
Not the worst example of poverty cosplay I've heard in recent years. I kind of just find the song more annoying than anything. I did a lot of jazz stuff as a kid, and I got really sick of 12-bar blues. And whilst I loved Playboi Carti, I thought it was a really good album, this was a real weak lead single, I believe. It's a shame it was the only hit from the record and only representation it gets on this list, to be honest. It deserves better than its biggest hit.
I don't know if there's something that sounds like a One Republic track from 2009 became a hit.
Like, I've heard defenses for it, but it's in a similar vein to Pointless by Capaldi, where, yeah, like, the lyrics are really kind of good, but when the screaming is this bad, it just can't get any higher than the bad tier for me personally.
You and me alone.
Yet another commercial core song that comes off about as 3 out of 10 as possible. This guy's album from this year was actually much worse than I thought it was going to be, because, you know, if your first big single is going to be such a happy song, then you kind of expect the guy to lean into it more instead of trying to make a bunch of depressing dreck that doesn't really fit his vibe at all. After such a terrible year for indie pop music, I'll give these guys a little bit of a benefit of the doubt for making their songs sound kind of rougher and a bit more different to everything else. Not by much though. I like the percussion and I like the little organ. It conjures up more than just the most basic feeling, you know? But with that whistling, with that high-pitched singing... I could only appreciate so much about it, you know?
I could go and read your mind. Think about your dumb face all the time. Living in your glass house, I'm outside.
I hated this song for the first few listens, but then I realised that this is kind of just the sad girl's Mr. Brightside.
What you do to get you off? Taking down her hair like, oh my god.
And I like when artists just go there, like, to that level. And I definitely would have appreciated the song more if I could listen to a second of it.
Ooh, bet you think she's so cool.
I just hate it, I just hate it, I just hate it, I just hate the singing, I hate the touched up everything, I just hate it, I hate that vocal melody as well.
Ooh, you got me thinking she's so cool.
I'm so sorry, like maybe this song is technically fine, but I just hate it. I know this is the song that basically melded her into the current persona that she has, but once again, I genuinely don't understand how this could get more of a pass than Flowers, which was at least quite smart. This is about as generic as it comes. This is a difficult one. I've re-recorded what I've said several times already. Essentially, I don't think this is as bad as it could have been when you consider the deity status that Taylor Swift has had, and this is her sort of like riling up her loyal fans who have ruined people's lives over her a little bit. But she doesn't go all the way out. She plays her cards fairly cleverly. Like, her talent as a writer definitely comes through on the song. There's some great imagery in the lyrics. Yet there's just this kind of like bullshit to the whole thing. With some of these lyrics, I really do want to say boo-hoo, cry in your fucking mansion. But I'm also like, you know, when you're at that status, when you're that famous and everyone's watching over you, there's definitely some sympathy there. Don't like the lyrics, but I'm kind of open to any appraisal of it. All I'll say is that the instrumental is very boring and bad, and let's just move on. And please don't kill me, Swifties. I think you guys have got bigger problems than me.
We were lovers in a past life.
Calvin Harris's winning streak got destroyed by working with Rag & Bowman again, making the worst song since their last collaboration. The performance is better, but we got a similarly weak drop. I kind of like the beat to this one. It makes me feel like a gringo though, because I know what they're saying is probably horrible, but I still groove to it.
And send a text to your DM. Buying you for your fucking air.
Decent city vibes. Then the kid opens his mouth. Then Drake says that he's a stand-up guy like Dave Chappelle. And I'm just thinking, yeah, this deserves to be your swan song.
Baby girl, let me see you do your dance, let me see you twirl. Shake an ass in the...
Our love is alive. And so we begin.
I loved the tropical house wave of the mid-2010s, but this new wave that's just so ultra chilled out just bores the hell out of me. The biggest crime of Cyril's production has been the percussion. It never fits on the song properly. It always just sounds like he just dragged some preset in.
I hate to give the satisfaction asking how you're doing now.
This is the worst written song of Olivia Rodrigo's entire career.
Look at you, cool guy, you got it. Known it was strange. You only come out at night. You sold me for parts. You sunk your teeth into me.
Fucking hell, how do you write even more immaturely when you've already written an album as a teenager? Like, you really weren't that smart, eh? And actually the album is much better than the first one, but when I heard this and the other single, I was truly dreading it. And I guess it's not fair to call it bad per se. It does have a decent performance, and that build up towards the end, like, it is pretty phenomenal. But of every song in this tier, it's the one I want to return to the least. Listening is an absolute chore. It's like getting drunk dialed by a really shitty manipulative ex. Next song, please.
This is probably one of the most influential hits that didn't get talked about by other critics because it didn't chart well in the US. What this song is it's a German guy and his label that he's been a part of for about 15 years finally striking out and getting a hit, and the hit is in the vein of Afro House, a trend that he's been a part of for a couple years and is one of the parental genres of amapiano, and it's been an emerging trend in Europe for a couple years now. In fact, some of the guys on the label have had charting hits before, actually one charting hit before, and it was this. Yeah, so they get lucky, they have this song become a hit, and now Europeans are all making Afro House, and it feels a bit weird. I don't know if I've got the right to say that as a European who isn't really part of the culture, but it's very similar to how house music was a massive thing in the 80s and 90s from African American producers and singers, and then a bunch of Europeans kind of took the genre, and now you associate house music with Europe. It's kind of like that repeating. I do get the appeal that this song has compared to other Afro House songs. That very noticeable pitched percussion sound playing the dominant, it gives this pretty decent sense of sexual tension. But what I absolutely cannot stand about the song at all is the absolutely terrible fake Nigerian accent that Californian guy Malachi puts on in the song. It's terrible.
Will you still love me when I'm wrong and I'm bold, yeah?
Hey, I'm feeling I just wanna taste it. Got the feeling you don't wanna wait.
I love that bit in particular because that's where you can really tell how fake he is. Got the feeling you don't wanna wait. I don't know why they didn't just get a guy who's actually from Nigeria to do it.
In the nick of time, you low down boy.
Here's another song that I think Taylor is a bit better than. Moreover, that repetitive piano line and just rather mediocre and dull production. Like, even for a stripped down piano ballad, it's just too basic.
Everybody at the bar getting tips.
The most 2024 hit song of 2024. It's like every single trend of the year is in one mediocre song.
I'm your favorite reference, baby.
Decent beat to this one. It's not really a banger, but you know, it sounds alright. Does it justify the lyrics being this vain? I don't know. I mean, she did manage to make it a thing, and the fact it ended up being her biggest solo hit in ages, there is something to that. I wouldn't want to listen to it personally. I don't get why so many people point to random lyrics in this song as some of the best moments of music this year. I don't hate it.
One-on-one bitch at 18. One-on-one never again. One-on-one. When get the kick in the butter. I
Kind of feel this one, honestly. It's like a better sounding Wanna from 2, 3, 4 years ago.
I can take myself dancing, and I can hold.
One of the biggest differences between this and every other song that's topped a UK year-end list from the decade, including the one that will top 2024's year-end list, is that the album the track this is associated with performed considerably worse. And that's honestly a shame, because the album is really good, but like this one isn't. It's pretty clever with the way it interpolates When I Was Your Man, but its disco groove feels like a lighter, more derivative version of so many other songs from this decade, and the limp production certainly doesn't feel like empowering as a listening experience. It really should have been jaded, or even used to be young.
Ice JJ Fish is going to have that hit any day now.
Yes, hello. I was wondering if you could play that song again.
Which one, man?
The one that goes bee boo boo bop boo boo beep.
We're in serious risk of this becoming Ray's biggest ever hit, by the way. I mean, I'll allow it being D-Block's biggest hit because who cares, but it'll be strange that someone whose entire current identity has been defined from shifting away from an abusive label situation where she was forced to supply vocals on dance tracks, then have her biggest modern track be her vocals on a dance track from a one-hit wonder signed to Ministry of Sound.
You smoked then 8, 7 bars of chocolate.
Once again, another big letdown from Jack Antonoff. Just listen to the vocals and just the synths, and it just sounds so off. So, here's a song that was released in summer 2023 for the Idol soundtrack, initially to very little fanfare, but slowly and steadily happened to become one of the biggest of the year. I had a very negative reaction the first few times I heard it, but I've given it a few more listens, and it's an odd one. Maybe there could have been a good song in here. Unfortunately, Lily Rose Depp is just a terrible, drab singer.
Push me down, hold me down, spit in my mouth while you turn me out.
Her vocal tone just oozes non-effort. And it's so funny when The Weeknd comes in right afterwards and just demolishes her.
Hands on my neck while you push it up, and I'm screaming now. Give me tough love.
The lyrics are about wanting to have really rough sex, capitalizing on the popularity of choking and sex that's come about over the past few years, although she wants it done to an extreme level. Yikes. And after a while, I think I get it. I think I've started to get it more and more. It's certainly a very intimate song, and I think Jenny has some great singing on this.
Top of the world, but I'm still not free. This is a secret that I keep.
Other than that, I don't know. Like, I don't like how the hi-hats kind of sound like a ticking clock, like time's just going by. Also, a lot of the synth work is kind of awful, and generally the feel is very, very, very similar to like the 50 Shades of Grey soundtrack from 10 years ago. Sounds alright in the bedroom, I guess. I mean, I put it on over that Party Next Door shit. I mean, I guess it's hard to hate a song that sounds this competent. Everything I said in the summer video still stands though. I know, it does feel wrong to have this song so much higher than Hot to Go. In some aspects, it's a lot worse, like the production is so soulless and boring. But that bridge, even though it's got no real words in it, yeah, that's nice, I like that. Okay, this is getting ridiculous, like no one is going out their way to listen to this. This is another Amazon exclusive that I heard like once, and it's definitely the most pointless song. You don't actually care to hear my opinion on it at all.
Yeah, Aaron Dessner, I agree. I also think Curtain should have had a second chance of becoming a hit. I mean, no, technically there's nothing wrong with using the exact same drum loop, drum sample or whatever, but it's all I can think about when I listen to it, because other than that, this song is just nothing. Like, shouldn't this topic be in Swift's wheelhouse? It feels like it's come from the Speak Now Taylor's version era, but the song's just kind of a bit plain lyrically, except for, you know, the line. Touch me while your bros play Grand Theft Auto. It's all my love, I put that on.
Everything I said in the winter rankings still reigns true, but I wouldn't really turn it off. This is a real odd one. The guy is from Northern Ireland, but also when this song came out, I saw a Rolling Stone article calling him Art Rock's New Hope. Art Rock? And I don't know, it seemed that was mostly based on the fact that he got first noticed by Ollie Sykes from Bring Me the Horizon, because the music he'd released up until that point at least didn't get any more rock than, say, Mood by 24K Golden. And the song itself is this weird take on like the emerging sexy drill sound, which I'm not too crazy on, to be honest. And whilst it is catchy, admittedly, and I've kind of grown on it as the years gone on, the actual vocal itself is just so uncanny. You could easily mistake this for being some kind of faulty Kalani AI vocal filter, without any actual human voice input.
I guess the apple could turn yellow or green. There's lots of different nuances to you and to me.
This is not the last we're going to see of Charlie XCX in this video, but it will be the last we see of her for a while. I'll say it again, but I think the public are to blame in making most of the worst songs off Brat the biggest songs. I actually like the album a lot. And there's definitely something to this one too. The lyrics about generational divide, the struggling relationship with your parents, fitting in with the themes of brattiness and upper class life. The instrumental, on the other hand, sounds like I'm fucking teleshopping back in 2008. Or I don't know, maybe something they put on in the background in the cutscenes for like a CBBC show. Like, how do I put it? It doesn't sound like anything. It's not made to conjure any emotions or anything like that. Good tune, good beat, weird chart run though.
I could tell where your head was at when I found you. You know
I fixed it.
This is a song that I don't think anybody heard for the first time on the exact same day. I first heard it when it got certified silver 2 years after it came out, and I was surprised that it hadn't charted at that point then. Then the song ended up having a big resurgence in 2023, and honestly I don't really like the original too much. Like, I know this guy must have grown up listening to a lot of Duffy in his youth, but I was never too crazy about that kind of sound. Mostly I just don't like his voice. It's so like depressing despite what the song's trying to be about. I legitimately thought it was a song about drug addiction at first.
I missed a lot of love with a lot of drugs, then I found you. Put a smile on his face at the end of the day. MDMA helped us fly away.
Like, I thought it was an ode to addiction, not really like an actual loving relationship. But I like this version with Summer Walker more because she's a much more enjoyable singer and she plays off his own content as well.
Ever since I was a G, I've been a G.
I really like the beat of this one. It's like a throwback to like the early 2010s cloud rap, which in itself has seen a pretty big resurgence, as you will see getting later into this video. But that being said, like, considering the kind of kerfuffle and all the accusations that came around on the Idol soundtrack, it feels kind of uncomfortable that The Weeknd teams up again with another wife beater and then goes and says this.
If I was you, I would cut up my wrist.
That kind of turns me off the song completely, otherwise it's fine. Here's another song that I kind of like despite everything about it giving me the ick. I should have ranked this lower. It's in the decent tier though because I was driving like a minibus down this desert road and this song came on the radio and I felt like I was in heaven when that guitar comes through. I mean, yeah, it's pure radio-ready pickup driver shit, but as a Brit, having that experience just kind of felt like a bit of an epiphany. I never felt more free in my life behind the wheel with that kind of guitar, that kind of music sound playing in the background. I know, I'm a shit fucking critic. The biggest EDM song of the year, which kind of combines a lot of the sort of trends at the time, you know, that aren't the sample shit. You know, it's got that Irish house drop, you know, the shit drop at the beginning, the high-pitched, mildly annoying vocal for the TikTok girls, some sort of trance synthesizers in there as well, and a percussion that sort of veers towards, like, speed garage percussion. Like, it's kind of annoying, but, you know, when it comes on in the club, I don't just go to the bar like I do with some of the other songs on this list. Despite how much I love that Fred Again collaboration with the Blessed Madonna, We've Lost Dancing, I've never really got her stuff outside of that, at least until 2024 when I heard her debut album and it's really, really good. But this song is one of the lesser ones, especially for the most part. It's a pretty thin, kind of empty house beat. The chorus is not much of a banger. Clementine Douglas is a vocalist I think I like. I mean, it is a little odd how she sings a lot like a 90s African American house diva, even though she's not. But those singers do have some of the best voices I've ever heard, and it's kind of hit or miss. It's more of a miss on this one, but I wonder if that's partly because the beat behind her is like so tuneless and so thin. It's only really in the decent tier because of this one moment here. That's just beautiful production there. That alone like makes the song listenable to me. God, I remember in 2022 being impressed that Chase & Status had a song hit the top 50, and they end 2024 with 3 year-end hits. They're bigger now than they were in their initial peak. I mean, okay, the album they released, Too Rough Volume 1, it wasn't as big as No More Idols, but Disconnect and Badadan are probably like their 2 biggest hits to date. And Disconnect I definitely don't like as much as Badadan. It's just a bit too accustomed to the whole radio D&B formula. I mean, it's decently hard, and you know, some lyrics about letting yourself go after lifing for so long. That's alright, and Becky Hill absolutely kills it. The drum and bass parts though are not too great, especially the drop, which is really weak and limp.
The synthesizer, I mean, like, listen to it. It's so quiet and it's just playing like the same notes as the bass. Now that's kind of the problem I have with the radio D&B sound nowadays. Like, it's not as bad as Right Here from her own album, but I wouldn't really listen to this one. There's just too much better out there. It's fine though.
Yeah, bitch, I said what I said. I'd rather be famous instead.
After an embarrassing meltdown on social media and the first single from Scarlett underperforming, Doja played her cards right and got her first ever UK #1. Now, Doja was extremely vocal about disowning her past work, calling it pop sellout, soulless crap or something like that, and her album Scarlett was going to be a more real, authentic version of herself. And when I heard this song for the first time, I was like, you're shitting me, right? Like, this sounds exactly like all your other material. But then I actually heard Scarlett when it dropped, and yeah, you know what? Like, this era is a more authentic version of Doja Cat, and it does have a unique sound to it. But I mean that as a negative. Doja is a petulant brat. Like, she acts like she never got past her 15-year-old edgelord phase and isn't afraid to be annoying, chat shit, and beef with anyone. It's really cringe to watch. Listening to the album is the equivalent of scrolling through Twitter for 50 minutes to watch random people argue and insult each other over nothing, whilst listening to an instrumental playlist made of poorly ripped 90s G-funk songs uploaded to YouTube in the background. Like, if Agora Hills was big enough, which it wasn't, it would have been bad tier. Maybe even shit tier, because it perfectly sums up the record's grating production and her incessant need to rub in a controversial relationship to the world, instead of actually embracing the time that she has with the person, you know? It's easily her worst album, as no one involved in whatever beef she has is going to care about any of this in 3 years' time. Being genuine here, I'd only recommend that listen if you like petty bullshit or you're just as annoying and unlikable as she is. And Paint the Town Red is one of the better songs of the album because the instrumental is a well-assembled collection of minimal sounds that creates this lovely pillowy beat. It feels like a more subdued version of Lil Mosey's Blueberry Faygo, but it's replayable as hell and gives the listener something to latch onto over whatever bullshit Doja is crying about. Ha. I mean, this is the worst that Radical Optimism gets, and, you know, still fine.
Cold shoulder echoes in time, you begging me to...
Definitely some odd feelings and odd reactions to the revelation of Zach Bryan's behavior in his relationship. I mean, it's one thing to have a bad relationship where you argue all the time and it ends badly. It's another where you have to file a $12 million lawsuit based on the things you did, and also have it be revealed to the public that apparently you wouldn't allow your significant other to listen to Noah Kahan and Morgan Wallen because you're scared they're going to fuck them. I can't pretend that some of Zach Bryan's more romantic songs and relationship songs did take a hit after this realization. So it feels a bit odd that this one actually finally started to grow on me towards the end of the year.
Cold shoulder closing time, you begging me to stay till the sun rose. Strange words come.
And like, it's not great. I'm not going to pretend all these country signifiers and ultra polished, moody 2016 style production is like amazing, but I'm finally over the forced accent that Zach Bryan appears to put on. And I really did start to like feel and relate to like the romantic tension between the two parties. The familial, generational angst and trauma in these lyrics. The despondent, despaired, like vocal matched with the despondent sound. More and more I do start to see how good of a painting this is of like two incredibly broken people at the end of the relationship. Similar to Something in the Orange. Not as good, of course, but similar. My segment for the top 20 rankings got nuked by copyright to the point that it was like way too short. Essentially, I actually think this song is okay, even if I have consistently voiced negative opinions about Jack Antonoff's production. I think this is one of the less offensive examples. A song that's possibly more fiction than fact, about, you know, breaking up with someone who you have to constantly see, even if it's just a short fling. Yeah, it's probably about Matty Healy, but I like the representation of this as the woman who fucked her neighbor in her American dream suburb for a bit of time, but it felt like marriage. Its content is a bit too jumbled and confusing, but honestly, it does grow after repeated listens.
Who's the cute boy with the white jacket and the thick accent?
Oh god, she's rapping now. And she's got the flow of Turn of the Millennium Robbie Williams.
Where art thou? Why not upon me? see it in my mind, let's fulfill the prophecy.
Have a proper giggle, I'll be quite polite, but when I rock the mic, I rock the mic.
The Rick Beato approved sex beat doesn't do too much for me, despite how obviously well produced it is. The chorus is great too, except having the worst title on the charts, Bed Ken. Ugh. I don't like the sex bars coming out of their mouth. It doesn't sound as playful as Nonsense did, but it's still alright.
Who's on who?
Who's on who? God, what a strange decade it's been that for Stormzy to return to #1 after about 4 years absent, and his 2022 album not doing nearly as well as his 2019 one, was to collaborate with Chase and Status, off on their way to redo Badadan for like the second time in a row. And I do honestly think that I'm almost a bit too good for this, you know? Like, the one criticism that Too Rough Volume 1 album got, which even if I loved it, was that they were just milking the current underground scene, and this does not really sound like Chase and Status, you know, it sounds more like some underground act like Boo or Headaches. Like, their stuff, at least the stuff that was getting popular, or that I heard, it was never like this squelchy and this heavy on the bass. It's still a fun production though, and even if the lyrics from Stormzy are kind of rubbish and, you know, on the actual recording it doesn't sound all that good, I can't pretend there are parts of this that don't make me want to groove along, you know. There's a lot I don't like about how in the current era British artists are struggling to make it big on their own country's charts, but one of the few things I do like quite a bit is how a lot of the peculiarly big DJs and producers who were just always there and always trend riding really hard seem to have fallen away, like, you know, your Jax Jones, your Joel Corry, and Nathan Dorr as well to an extent. And this could be his final hit, and you know, for all the crap that he made this decade, I think this would be a good one to send off. I almost bumped it up to the tier above. And even then, it's not a perfect song at all. The first drop is extremely weak. There's some fairly shoddy vocal effects on the vocal, but it is a really cute melody. I think the ATB guitar integration is much better here than on the Calvin Harris song. And actually, I kind of like the very simple lyrical message as well. It's one of the better lyrical messages you get in these kind of dance songs. And yeah, this is Jax Jones's final song to chart in the UK. That would also be a pretty decent number for him to go out on. Of course, he had that awful song Whistle, which I put on my worst of 2023 list, but he actually followed that up on the charts, at least with a trance song that he turned into a dog song with the Blackout Crew, which is, I actually respect him so much for doing that, giving the Blackout Crew like an actual top 40 hit. It was insane. And this song afterwards, honestly, it is okay. I think the melodies is pretty decent. The groove is decent. The vocalist, Zoe Way, she's got a fairly nice little croak in her voice, a little bit of roughness there that I think is alright. Mostly I kind of like how the second verse has different set of chords to the first verse. Like, it's normally the same chords throughout for these kinds of dance pop songs, but he managed to make it work here, and I respect that. A long time no commentary on this guy. I know as well that this guy is not very popular with a lot of you. He made that song 3 Nights, which was massive in 2019, and I still do think it's one of the best hits of that year, by the way. It's a great song. But I did check out that album as off, and I was pretty disappointed because, yeah, everything else was literally a demo. And that does kind of seem to be his thing. So, on the whole, give or take this artist, I don't hate him. And this song in particular, I mean, it's literally like 75 seconds from an album called 14 Minutes that's got 8 songs on it. If it was an actual song, I would have definitely bumped it up to the good tier. I think this is a really good throwback to like the late 2000s style of pop indie. Much better than most of the indie shit that we got this year, honestly. Yeah, obviously not the best song ever, it's just fine, but you know, it's okay. Definitely better than the first time these two came together with a song. I always end up holding like a lot of respect for songs that make me like topics that I normally don't. Like, I'm not normally a fan of the whole, oh, our relationship ended and it was such a waste of time point of view that you do hear in a lot of songs. But I think with this one, the reason why I'm I kind of like the lyrics is that she actually says what she could have been doing during the time. She bothers to make a case for that kind of narrative, and it actually works pretty well. And the instrumental is, I mean, it's still quite generic. I'm still not a fan of Goddard's production, but it's better than we've had on some of his other songs. It would have been in the good tier, but I just can't get over this strange choice of sample. Like, that's not really a good recontextualization of whatever you're sampling there. It simply goes against what the song is about. It's really weird and strange that the Kid LAROI had a decent charting year in 2024. Because a lot of hip-hop acts and hip-hop adjacent acts that broke out at the same time as he did, they're not here anymore. They fell off. Like I said earlier, remember Polo G? So the fact that Kid LAROI had a pretty decent chart year, all things considered, considering he was one of the worst acts, should be like a travesty. But to my surprise, the 4 or so songs he charted, I actually low-key kind of liked. In fact, I think this may have been the worst one, and that's mostly because of him himself, to be fair. The vocal melodies on this are very annoying. His vocals in general are just kind of pitched and off, and there's nothing really to the lyrics. It's mostly because he took the all-time legendary producer Clams Casino to produce this epic, massive soundscape that I absolutely love, and I returned to this song a lot in 2024, mostly because of him. And okay, on the bigger picture, this is a pretty unspecial instrumental by his standards. He's been producing beats like this since 2009, but I've got no issue with this being on the charts. I was very, very, very close to bumping this up to the good tier. God, welcome back, Chainsmokers. Well, it's been like 5 years since they've had a hit. Anyway, speaking of acts who have done their own sound a lot in the past, this one is only in the decent tier because I've briefly checked out some of Zerb's stuff, who is a Brazilian DJ, and most of it sounds the exact same as this, like before and after. With that being said, for one song, I will take it. It's a very nice sound. It's quite hard to say which style of house music it is. Is it tropical? Is it deep house? Is it Afro house? But there's enough of a groove to it, there's enough going on, that it definitely stood out compared to a lot of the other chill house songs that were big in 2024. It's a real nice listen.
Road is dope, smoke and toke, south side of the water in a joke.
I mentioned before how drill music and UK hip-hop has been dying off in the UK scene, in the UK mainstream. So I don't know if this song in particular has particularly violent lyrics, or if that kind of music has gone, so it just makes the violent lyrics stand out a lot more and more. But yeah, my eyebrow was raised a few times listening to this song with some of the things that this guy talks about. Also, he's called Poser, and he sounds a lot like AJ Tracey. An AJ Tracey ripoff called Poser, yeah. I don't know why he exactly caught on with a stage name like that, but honestly the song itself sounds pretty decent. The beat actually comes from the same guys who had that viral Snowfall instrumental. They just added a Jersey Club kick to it, and it's a really cool sound, and he flows over it really well.
And I know, she knows that I'm not fond of asking.
Do any of my American followers know this one? This is a song that you could essentially call a bit of a legacy hit, but it seems to have only ever been a hit in the UK, and it only seems to stream decently in the UK. And this comes from a UK indie pop band from like the indie pop boom in the mid 2000s. It's one of those songs that everybody here knows. And you know, I did almost think about not having ranked this song at all, because yes, it's technically eligible, but it's one of those songs that everybody knows over here, and I don't feel like I can add anything other than, God, the song's real fucking pissy, isn't it?
I'm not saying it was your fault, although you could have done more. How could this be done with such a smiling sweetheart?
Like, it's a real fucking pissy song, but I feel like it's one of those ones that you don't really know how pissy it is because everyone just kind of likes the tune and the instrumentation, and even the guy's kind of weird singing, but it's not weird enough to be completely distracting. Can't pretend that, like, I think it's a bad song, I don't. And also, like, it's a real fun one to bash out on the drums.
Middle placing seems pretty fit for this. I remember that one day I had to hear this song 3 times in public and once back in like June.
These niggas talking out of their neck, don't put no coughing out of your mouth. I'm way too.
Having listened to a lot of the biggest of the hip-hop albums this year, like, even by that standards, Future says some real fucked up shit about women. Like, can anyone get away with saying this?
I put her on the game, she get fucked for a chain.
And this guy's 40 years old, by the way. Another thing that's a little bit of a letdown about this song is how the beat is pretty much just from a fairly obscure 1980s song.
La, la, la. Tell my boyfriend.
And speaking of like slightly untapped nostalgia, like a full-on Destiny's Child throwback with such a great beat. Here are 2 Ariana Grande songs where I've got issues with the lyrics, I guess. Like, The Boy Is Mine doesn't really pull off the whole stealing your partner thing. And Yes and as well, basically being you need to calm down again. With a fucking terrible music video. One of the worst music videos of the year, easily.
Typical Ari. You know, I think I liked it better when her ponytail was a few centimeters higher. Right. And I mean, who cares? She's happy.
But what I really loved about that album was the production. I love the classiness of The Boy Is Mine's beat. I love the little slow down bit before the chorus as well. Some great chords too. And the classic like late 80s house beat on Yes And is a style of house music that's still fairly untapped in the grander scheme of things. Everything's been too focused on the 90s, so an actual late 80s house beat and one that is that well produced, I can't really resist it. Not my favourite from the album amongst the first listen, but there is something kind of effective about this song, even if, I don't know, like the lyrics and all the drama shit, I don't fucking care. But the thing I noticed about the album is I thought it was Ariana Grande's worst singing, and that's kind of used to the advantage here. Like, she sounds so wispy and tiny and small, but it's in a way that most pop stars generally don't sink to. Oh, I guess it ended up paying out pretty well that, like, in the late 2010s, the only music I really listened to that wasn't chart music was, like, the underground drum and bass line type of music, because those kind of artists, I should say, they're now, like, some of the biggest dance artists right now, like Boo and Skepsis, who have songs later on this list, and, of course, Sammy Vergy, who had tons of songs that all the underground clubs used to play, like, you know, in the late 2010s when I started going clubbing, and here he is with, like, an actual full-on bona fide hit. Like, sure, this song didn't peak any higher than, like, I think number 80 or something, but it did stick around and it did well enough to be certified silver within a year of its release, and it's quite okay. It's definitely a different style to the kind of thing he does. It's very, you know, like, I mean, a lot of my problem with bassline is just how simple it is, and this song is extremely simple. It's very repetitive, but I can't deny, like, those synths, that melody, it's a real earworm. Yeah, this one is a bit of a pain to rank this low. I, like I'm sure some of you, had no interest in what Jade's music was going to be like, but she definitely dropped the most interesting out of the 4 solo members of Little Mix's debut singles. And it's almost impossible to hear this song and not hear how directly inspired by Escapism by Ray the entire thing is. It's not so much a story song in the sense that it is kind of multifaceted. The structure is quite unconventional for pop music, even though it is pop. My issues, though, come down to how, like, the actual club part, or the drop part, is pretty, like, weak. It's just very minimal. It just doesn't really work. It kind of sucks. Also, I noticed as well that the chorus vocals, I don't know why they really did this, but the chorus for most of the song is the same as the first chorus, but obviously just sped up. They took the exact same take and sped it up. And maybe the problem is me, because I just never particularly cared that much about like the career path of Jade. But I guess, you know, it's a nice final middle finger to the coffin that is Simon Cowell's career. Amateurish song, but I kind of respect the ambition to make something with a story to it, you know. It's sweet, I guess. Kind of crazy how this one was almost not eligible. Really was caught between years. A biting description of the realization that you were brought up in a pseudo-religious cult. You spent your life praying to made-up gods and supporting alleged rapists, only to one day discover the farce of it all. You just wanted to be part of something, but that something made you feel deceived by the cult's emptiness machine. Well, that's what I like to imagine it's about, because otherwise it's just another trite Linkin Park song.
Just like you always do, just like you always do, already.
So that was my My 2 Cents review for it, which was probably my favourite My 2 Cents review of 2024. And yes, it was snarky. But to give the song credit, well, first of all, I don't think we've ever had a rock song rock this hard in the UK top 5 in like years and years. So in the context of the songs we're talking about, as one of the biggest releases of the year, yeah, I do kind of support this. But also, whilst this track lyrically is extremely vague and can be applied to anything, it's not entirely out of the ordinary to suggest that some of the experiences that Emily Armstrong may have influenced the lyrics of the track. Now, some people who know more about Scientology and are actually involved in all the cases and stuff, they have called her out. Some people who've studied Scientology and report on it, they also think that she should say something. But at the same time, her own mother ended up being put in one of their weird jails for years when she would have been like a late teen, early 20s. And if they have that much power over her family member, I totally see why she wouldn't have made such like a big statement yet. And I do think that does add a bit of potency to the song's lyrics. As I said before, I love the production on this song. I just don't care for anything that Baby Keem does on the sample, but yeah, I'm glad it made the list. Can't believe this is the only official Fred Again year-end hit to date though.
The man them too inconsiderate, 5-star hotel smoking cigarette mixing codeine.
To think that if this song was released just a few months earlier, it may have actually been the first time a UK rap song was the biggest hit of its year. A top 10 hit on the global charts. And it would have been a lot better if it weren't for all the nonsense lyrics.
100 meters. I just put 9 gal in a sprinter.
Our boys are driving around in one of these things. Hot. Also, are these 9 women on 9 Amazon delivery packages?
Man in my land heard one of my things dating. P Diddy need 20% or whatever she bags. Outside, my head in my hands.
So, are you saying you're hoeing out one of your girls to P Diddy, awkward, to steal stuff from him? Are you doing that insecure alpha male thing where you say you can only have a sex worker partner if they give you a cut of the money? And are you saying that either way you're embarrassed by it? Like, if you got 8 other girls in the delivery van, you probably could afford to lose 1 if you're just embarrassed.
She a feminist, she think I'm sexist, twisting my words, I think she dyslexic. It's such a hole. Who's that with the hair off fleek? She made me beat my horn, it's peak. Forgot she got fucked. You need a reminder, you're not brand new. I should've kicked that one to the curb. If you won't give me your love for free, I'll buy it. Just tell me how much it will cost me. Should've deleted that text and you wouldn't have known that fuck those hoes. Are you sure you wanna make that wife? We know her since way back when. If you don't know what you're doing, we're not together. It's driving me mad cause I can't even stop you. I came to LA to work, but first, where the bitch is at. These females planning on doing me wrong, so I'm grabbing a dome at the Trojan pack. You made me delete that, pick up my phone, but I close my eyes to see that image. You ain't gotta worry about none of these hoes, I'm grown, I'm done with these bitches.
Yeah, she really had to twist your words to reveal the sexes in there.
I love chilling with broke bitches, man, book one flight and they're all impressed.
Oh my fucking god, Dave. Like, why do you keep shooting yourself in the foot like this? Like, you can't expect to be much of a voice of a generation if you're gonna make fun of the poor. And also, you know flights aren't that expensive in Europe. Like, you've heard of Ryanair.
These roads of flames are catching a fire.
The novelty of this is something no one's going to appreciate until we look back on 2024, just in the sense that we managed to get like an actual reggae song, not a COD reggae song, not a reggae song that's influenced by, you know, ska or pop or anything like that, like something with the actual classic reggae drum beat. a grandson of Bob Marley. We got it in the top 5. We got it on the official year-end list. And I may as well just repeat what I said about the Emptiness Machine, in the sense that, is this the most amazing reggae song ever? Of course not. But like the simple fact that it's here, one of the biggest songs of 2024, extremely nice breath of fresh air on the charts at the very start of the year. This is not a song that's going to be like remembered well at all. It's just a bit too forgettable. There's not enough really going on in it, but it is a real sweet little jam. It kind of just transports me to like a sleepy beach. I won't mind if Teddy Swim sticks around. Is he like attracting the most attention as a pop artist right now? Not necessarily, but his acceptable pop soul is pretty nice.
Can you blow my mind?
Okay, fine, I'll take my head out my ass, this is good. I would still consider it one of Tyler's weakest hits, but it is a standout in both the UK and even out of the big Amapiano hits to have made it from the motherland. I really wish more from Tyler could have caught on, because this will be such an unfortunate case of a great act becoming like a 1.5 hit wonder, and that hit wasn't even close to her best. I'm such a sucker for Miami bass, and this song gives me such intense nostalgia now. This is like what Drake is good for nowadays, and even if some of the lyrics are a bit kind of gross, I can't deny it, it's such a great party song. Another one in the same category as Rich Baby Daddy, where it just gives me such intense nostalgia to when it was big at the start of the year. But honestly, this instrumental is quite generic, but it is extremely nice. And it does kind of fit her nasal vocal tone as well.
Put some miles on it. Back of the Chevy with the
Yeah, you guys hate fun. And fine, the lyrics are kind of corny, and when he says, if you break it in, yeah. I think A, you know, out of songs about fucking cars, it's better than Hey Porsche by Nelly. And B, having had to put up with all the Miles Smith shit from this year, I would much prefer to take this, because like the vocals are so much better, the instrumental mix is better as well, it's just a more fun instrumental. I think it's pretty fun. And speaking of songs about losing your virginity in the back of the car, it took a bit of a while for me to really get this one. And I don't really think Addison Rae has it, but at times like this sweet sound gets a little close to transcendental.
But I wish you the best for the rest of your life.
This is my least favourite of the 7 Billie Eilish songs on this list. Yes, we're only just getting started. Oh, my dear only would take number 2 over number 1. What about the bounce, baby? Other than that, I would take this song over the first one, to be honest. I guess you could say it's less like experimental or whatever. It's more attuned to like a classic early to mid noughties hip hop song, you know, but I vastly prefer the groove. Shallow song, such a rudimentary description of a woman wanting fame whilst being used at the same time, and that story does make it intrinsically linked to the Netflix series, which I didn't watch because, you know, even though I've done this hobby for 8 years, I do value my time enough to not watch something like that. But I love the noughties nightclub groove though, that cowbell, those drum beats, they're so tight. The way the vocals, strings, and bass sync up against each other is honestly fantastic. Like, the song has grown on me a lot since I last reviewed it. I don't think any of you will expect this one. I mean, maybe because you haven't heard it, it wasn't a massive hit, but either way, considering who it's by, considering what kind of song it is, yeah, you're probably a little bit shocked that this is this high. Because like that Rasputin remix from 2021 is still terrible and it's just boring nostalgia bait. But what this one is it's a mashup between a Celine Dion minor hit that I personally never heard of and of course the very classic And the Beat Goes On. It was actually a mashup done by this guy, the Jammin' Kid, and then Majestic went on to give the song a real nice, glisteny, French house type beat. And I'm not major on French house, but this one's a real jam. And plus, the songs actually mash up really, really well. Celine Dion's vocals and vocal melodies sit extremely well over the instrumental. Look, I will eventually get sick of Olivia Rodrigo's theatre kid pop punk. And this song has been getting worse and worse with every listen. It would have been much higher, but I still think that it's kind of chaotic in such a beautifully fucked up way.
I think I'll take my whiskey.
I still can't get over Sit in the Barrel. I'd take my bed at 3 as well. I mean, isn't this guy supposed to be more of like a party hard animal? Like, why does he talk like that if he's trying to pull this kind of thing off? Also, did you guys know that more than half of Hose's charted songs charted after March 2023? That doesn't feel right, doesn't it? Okay, this is gonna seem like I'm just, you know, being a dumb and contrarian for this one. I know this is one of the most hated UK hits of the year amongst all chart watchers. All I can say is, this song makes me feel so fucking happy. Badger is a late 20-something, early 30-something, I don't fucking know. He looks a lot like Fred again, but he started off doing D&B, then he moved over to UKG several years ago, and according to him, music was the only thing that he was good at, it was the only thing he really worked on, and then finally paid off with this song just randomly going viral. Happened to be around the same time that Unwritten had a big resurgence. He made the song before then. And it was kind of surreal to see a bassline song that's way more of like a classic bassline song, the Sammy Virgil one we just had, end up being this big kind of global dance hit. And fucking hell, this song just goes the hell off. The beat is immaculate. The walking bass line, the drums, it's all compressed, it's all mixed so beautifully. And the vocal is the part that does, you know, harm the song a little bit. At the same time, I keep coming back to the stutter vocal part though. It is a shrill recording, but it's so bouncy, and after a certain amount of time, it does feel really good on the ears. This song turns any old Nissan shitbox into a fucking Ferrari.
You know I got it, boy, for the ones who gone. R.I.P.'s in your memory, we carry on.
A rage beat that revs like a full-on V12. And I also love how the song doesn't really have like a chorus, it's just got 3 really catchy hook parts. It seems to have maybe been by accident, as Hanneman kind of admitted that this song only took him like a few minutes to write, so it does have that kind of Mo Bamba effect of being like an accidental banger. But there wasn't anything else on the charts at the time that really kind of stood out and hit this hard. Check out Run It Up as well. If that's not a hit, then we fucking failed.
Everybody knows that's the way that the weekend goes.
I criticised Rudimental before when talking about Dancing is Healing, when I said that I didn't think their newer drum and bass sound really had anything to it. On repeated listens, yeah, the stuff is kind of pop, but it's not nearly as kind of soulless as the drum and bass was getting big about 10 years ago from Sigma and the like. What it reminds me most of, though, is the actual particular drum and bass song that was big back then, which I liked, called Say You Do. This is a song no one really listens to anymore, but it was a pretty big hit in 2016. It was a crossover between DJ Fresh and Sigala, a tropical house-style drum and bass song. We never really got that as like a trend because drum and bass fell back into the underground shortly after, but that's what they seem to be offering for the most part. That song Dancing is Healing has grown on me a lot because it really is a summery, tropical type of drum and bass song. The one they followed Green and Gold up with, Bring Me Joy, I love that one. That one's a great song. And this one's also alright. With that being said, I can't really get over how much of a kind of rip-off it is of Disconnect with the lyrics and even having Becky Hill Jr. on the vocals.
Look, phase out, reload, nearly overload. We're sitting on the throne and no one's getting overthrown.
What does elevate it to good tier though is the feature of Rico Dan. That's another thing I really like about the drum and bass resurgence, which is that actual drum and bass MCs who've been at it for like years and decades, like Rico Dan, are finding themselves on the charts. I do feel a little bit like a hypocrite, you know, being annoyed about the simplicity of Stick Season, but being okay with this, because the big criticism I got of Sailor Song is it's just so simple. Simple chords, simple vocal melodies. I really shouldn't like it as much as I do, but I do. I'm a real sucker for like variations in dynamics, like the way the guitars just sounds a bit louder in certain parts, and like the song itself isn't really like compressed or the same volume throughout like so many pop songs are. It's got quiet bits, louder bits. Some of the production as well, like the little brass type sections in the interims, they sound really great. And the lyrics too, like they're a little jumbled at times, like the cat and the mouse thing, but when they're good, they're really good. That's such a cheeky line.
When did it end? All the enjoyment.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but it was Todd's review of the song that gave it a bump on the ranking. Like something about the way Todd emphasized the self-reflection of Billie's fame at present as a piece of entertainment with not much value or depth to herself. I don't know, it hit me more than I thought. I just thought it was going to be more stylized sad girlisms a la TV at first. Now, I don't think the song is that special in Billie's discography, but it is quite different for a UK #1, because #1s don't normally sound like this. Beautifully sung, no percussion, orchestrated compositions like these don't sound like anything that really tops the charts since like the 70s, and it's quite surreal. Rough chorus aside, I still think this song is pretty excellent. Seductive and dangerous at the same time. So I guess technically this is my favourite #1 of 2024. It wasn't that good of a year for #1s this year, to be honest. I don't really have much of an emotional reaction to it. I'm kind of just putting it here out of... I don't know. I kind of hate this song, to be honest. Like, this is a song where she is taking aim at her ex's new partner because the ex broke up with her and got back with her, and she's playing it off like, oh, I don't actually care. Like, you do care. Yes, that does. You can't like pretend it doesn't. It obviously means you fucking care. But two things about it. First of all, the production is amazing. Unlike Espresso, it doesn't feel soon to be dated or dated already. It's actually like it's an 80s throwback, but towards the kind of sunshiny pop style. Drums sound excellent, the guitars sound excellent. But really, it's that vocal melody. When I kind of just gave into the song, it was when I just kept humming it all the time, the same vocal melody again and again. And you know, I said how I wouldn't have wanted to have had a breakup when Passengers Let Her Go was all over the radio, because it would have been so annoying. If I had been in the situation that the ex has been in, I would hate to have to hear this song on the radio. And you know, that kind of thing happens. And I think that's the kind of evil genius of the song. No, it doesn't really work in the sense that she's not able to pull off not being over it, despite what she says. It's bullshit in that sense. But as a revenge, it actually works extremely well by being such a dumb pop song. So yeah, begrudgingly best #1 of 2024, but I'd be happy leaving it in 2024. To keep up with girly pop music in the 2020s is to kind of retroactively appreciate Want You Back by Cher Lloyd, and this is definitely a better version of that song. And this appears to not be one of the most liked songs from Short and Sweet. People take a particular issue with the lyrics. However, for me, the lyrics are awful throughout that album, so one song with bad lyrics, which may be less interesting than some of the other awful songs, like that's not gonna make much of a difference to me compared to the other songs, especially when the song sounds great. And I said before, I love Miami bass. The Miami bass percussion on here is great. The production is great. She's a massive dick on this song, but she's a massive dick on the album. That's the thing about Short and Sweet, like, it's not a fun album. The only times where she's having fun in this album is when she's talking about sex. And also why this is probably the best song on it.
I know you want my touch for life if you love me right.
I mean, this one also just sounds so good. The teen rom-com type instrumental, the beautiful chorus melodies, the beautiful singing. It's excellent. It would have been a 10 out of 10, but she fucks it up with all these awful lines.
I might let you
make me Juno, more like make me vomit.
For me, mark your territory.
Yeah, like that's exactly what I want to think of when I'm fucking you. A dog pissing on a lamppost.
I showed my friends, then we high-fived. Sorry if you feel objectified.
Okay, that one, it's so close to being like actually fucked. I mean, it's vague enough where, you know, she could be talking about his Instagram. But it did at least conjure up the feelings that she's committing revenge porn, you know? But yeah, it's not obviously about, you know, nudes. It's not like that 5 Seconds of Summer song from 10 years ago, where it was obviously about nudes.
The pictures that you sent me, they're still living in my phone. I'll admit I like to see them, I'll admit I feel alone.
God, this song is so fucking bad.
But I see her in the back of my mind all the time.
If you were a little bit confused by my comment earlier about how I think Billie Eilish isn't that great of a songwriter, this is a good example. I mean, she rhymes girl with world. Everything is so matter of fact. You listen to this song, you know it's exactly what it's about. It could have been written by anyone. But the actual concept itself is a pretty interesting one and not very kind of normal. Just in the sense that it's a song where she ends up coming across and befriending her partner's ex, sees her breaking down, and she just can't stop having that feeling about it. She can't stop thinking about it. It's a great concept. Execution a bit meh, but yeah, it's a great concept and it sounds really good too. To date, Tate's best single. Well, that Timbaland sounding beat from Timbaland's Protégé, it's just so tight and crisp. I know she's tried to imitate this on further songs going into 2025, but it just hasn't hit as well as it did on this one. Like, as I mentioned, I don't really know how to like rank older songs in comparison to the newer stuff. I try and put myself in the mindset of what was trending, and I just don't have that knowledge for, like, you know, this kind of era. Was this one of the better songs of the 1994 Uranus, or whatever Uranus was on? I don't know.
I had all and then most of you, some and now none of you.
Most of these legacy hits, they tended to have been hits before or been by popular artists, songs from their albums that ended up catching on later. This is a very peculiar one though, because the band itself wasn't really ever that big. They released this song on an album in 2015 and then had the song get popular from that 13 Reasons Why thing I never paid any attention to back in 2017. And just ever since then, the song has always done quite well. It's always streamed pretty well. It's got more than 2 billion streams on Spotify. And I think it's absolutely lovely as well. This kind of 60s ballad 12/8 sound isn't normally for me, although I do like how there's one bar of 15/8. That's pretty nice.
Oh, take me back to the night we met.
The Better Speak Now throwback from this album.
From Jersey to Ibiza, they say it doesn't get.
Yeah, I'm glad that there's another song from that Tyler album that qualifies for the list. Interesting thing about Tyler is that even though she's big in South Africa, considering how so many of the biggest South African acts don't have that kind of crossover appeal, she isn't as big as you might have imagined. She's a little bigger than she is over here, but not necessarily that much. And this song's a real nice kind of fusion of amapiano, Afrobeats, R&B too. My favourite part of the whole song is when she goes jump, jump, jump. The second time it's just slightly off the beat.
Jump, 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 jump. Oh, you know I love to make it jump, 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 jump.
I love the song. It's great, and it would have been great too if it wasn't for the fucking terrible Gunniverse. Out of place, awful tone of delivery, and what the fuck is this mic drop line? I know that there's a lot of guys who want to fuck Tyler, but like, calling her a trophy, no reward on her own song, like that's another league of objectification there. We are more than halfway through the 2020s now, and there have been 7 songs by one-hit wonders that never touched the chart again. So you know, songs that hit number 1 and the artist never had another charting hit. Those artists are Jaws 685 on Savage Love, Gale with EBCDEFU, LF System with Afraid to Feel, probably the biggest in that category, Interplanetary Criminal somehow with Baddest of Them All, and Kenya Grace with Strangers. And also there are all those artists on We Don't Talk About Bruno and some of the rappers on the Body remix. But you'll notice there's one song that seems weirdly absent because all three of the acts have had another charting song. Yes, this song, which should be the purest one-hit wonder of the decade, managed to see the artist get a second hit in 2024.
Oh, my love said to me, will you meet me by the sea? You can kiss.
Yeah, the guy who came popular on TikTok back during the pandemic, used to work as a postman. He's still here. He had a relatively successful album, I guess, and an actual hit song. It didn't peak higher than number 40, but it was another one that got certified before the end of the year, so people were streaming this a lot. And honestly, I think it's absolutely lovely.
And his bony eyes, they had her on now. Oh, my love.
Like, it's not great tier because the vocals do sound really mushy and muddy, and as much as I wish I liked this guy, his album kind of sucked. It was terrible, but this is definitely one of the standouts on it.
It hadn't been for Cotton Eye Joe, I'd been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
A beautiful little love song with a real traditional kind of Scottish folk vibe to it that you don't normally get on the charts. 44 great tier songs. Maybe 2024 was as good as 2023. And yeah, Snooze was one of those songs that just like left the year to date list like shortly after the middle of the year, so it is eligible. Anyway, Snooze is lovely and comforting. It doesn't quite get all the way, as its looped R&B instrumental is a bit too thin on the ground and basic for me to want to return to it much. But, you know, gotta give it to SZA, she's genuinely quite funny.
In a drop top ride with you, I feel like Scarface. Like that white bitch with the bob, I'll be your main one.
For a basic song that's so intimate, it's surprisingly dynamic and lyrical. If you went back to 2014 and told me that Jungle would have had their first year-end hit 10 years later, I would not have believed you at all. This is like a fantastic driving song as well. The beat is so tight, the vocals are beautiful. Unfortunately, it is one of those annoying songs whining about like nostalgia and where it all went. Speaking of which, this wasn't going to be nearly as high. It's not that I've always thought this was a bad song or anything, but I'm just not all that interested in looking back at a song from 84 that goes on about how great 69 was. But I think similar to Castle on the Hill, this is one of those songs that just gets better when you age.
1,000 on my feet, stacks spread it on my seat.
I don't really have respect for Travis Scott as a person, but I still think he's got it as an artist. I thought Utopia was kind of good. And I definitely like this one as well. And one of the 2020s trends I like quite a bit is the 2-song-in-1. The beautiful start at the beginning before going into a kind of more anxiety-driven beat. Amazing that this song spent most of its life as a beloved deep cut that everyone wished should have been a hit, and now it's her most streamed song to date. Glad this song became a hit. You go, boy! The thing that really makes Birds of a Feather for me is the percussion. The drums sound so good. The rhythm is slightly unconventional, but it's really sticky. I think they said as well that it took them months to fine-tune everything. No, it's not my favourite song from the album, but it is a great pop song. It's another beautiful kind of timeless song. Funnily enough, I've met a few people who compared this to If the World Was Ending by JP Saxe, and honestly this song does everything better than that song except for the lyrics. The lyrics in this one are so boring it hurts, but God, as a piece of music, it's just excellent. Like the singing, the production, especially the drum production. Like, listen to these drums, they're beautiful. How on earth is it that I'm defending Dua Lipa more than most people now? That's so weird. Funnily enough, one of my contemporaries, Lizette G, made a great point about how this album is more kind of suited to like European dance trends, the Italo disco and light house sound and even a little bit of breakbeat. That kind of stuff plays more to a European audience than the big booming disco sounds of future nostalgia. And I think that kind of works critically too. Like, I think that I, as a British critic, I don't really care for that kind of disco stuff again, which is why I was always kind of just a bit more than lukewarm on future nostalgia. But I like the album much more. And don't get me wrong, I get why it wasn't as big. The songs don't really pop as much. Everything was a lot more low key. Also, that album cover compared to the previous one is completely terrible. But these two songs are really, really good. I think Illusions, light, somewhat psychedelic type of house beat is just golden. And Houdini's mix of like the synth funk with the disco, it's just beautiful. The rockier side of country music hasn't crossed over as much, but I'd more than welcome this. Like, the song, sure, it's not really particularly meaningful, but it's much, much better than when he did this before on A Beer with a Broken Heart.
Much man that ain't ever let me down.
One of my favourite songs from my 21st Century Blues managed to catch on after the performance of the Brits.
If you could see him now, you'd be proud, but you think that.
So I guess it's a bit of an elephant in the room up until now that there's quite a bit of Zach Bryan on this list. 3 Zach Bryan songs. And the thing about Zach Bryan is that his stuff tends to linger for a long time after its release. In fact, I wouldn't be too surprised if this song ends up on next year's year-end list. It's still streaming ridiculously well. And yeah, a lot of like his love songs, relationship songs did sink with me when it came to, you know, the revelation of everything, but this definitely didn't. I really like that what Zach did is it's after a very polished album, he went back to his more traditional original sound, and it creates a hit song that, from my own English perspective, kind of just sounds like a day at the pub.
And don't you mention all the inches that are scraped on the door frame.
Like this beautiful production, it sounds like I'm sitting in a warm pub by a fire. And the lyrics hit really hard, where it goes back to, you know, a commemoration of a friend who we lost. And okay, it's not the best song ever. That is a very similar vocal melody.
So clean the house, clear the drawers.
And for goodness sake, with the forced accent, just like, especially in this case where it's so whistly, like over such pretty production, it's pretty funny.
The kids are in town for a funeral.
They just ghosted you.
For anyone who thought my critique of Vampire was a bit much, I guess this is a caveat, because this is kind of like Vampire, but everything about it is better. Now, it is still kind of annoyingly vague, like what did this guy do to deserve getting time, but the instrumentation, the build-up, and Taylor Swift as well, just as a better writer than Olivia Rodrigo, yeah, it's a great song. Most Teddy Swim songs have been just kinda good, but this is a great tune. I think they chose this one as the late release single because it's the one that sounds so similar to Too Sweet by Hosier despite predating it. But I think the song at the core is much better. I Just Saved My Life When I Showed You the Door is an amazing line.
I could eat that girl for lunch as she danced.
I'm not crazy for seeing the disco comparison, aren't I? I mean, like, it's got a lot of disco elements, yeah, pop rock, whatever, but that kind of bass line, that kind of BPM, that kind of drum groove. Like, it's pretty much a disco song, isn't it? Not like new disco, but like an older style of disco. Oh, whatever, never mind. Blue, which is the ending to Hit Me Hard and Soft, is one I was quite conflicted on where to rank. The first song, if it was just the first song, would have been the lowest of the Billie Eilish tracks. It's not bad, it's fine. The instrumental's smooth, I like the drums. But the vocal melody is just kind of annoying, and I don't think the lyrics are all that great. The second version, though, would have been the highest one. I think this song is supposedly like quite an old Billy track that got released now on the album, but it essentially builds on the kind of incredible, powerful narrative that Your Power had, but it takes it to another level. Actual good writing as well that isn't completely kind of vague or basic when discussing how horrible this person was as an ex, and the production as well is just immaculate. Posh girl chamber pop that's very derivative of its inspiration, sure. You know, at times it's difficult to attach yourself as, you know, a critic and as a person, but having this song have its chart run begin, peak and end at a time when I was in a big city that really felt like a second home. Oh, I was really tempted to rank this like 15 spots higher. Becky Hill has been a consistent hit maker on the UK charts coming up for about 12 years now. And in those 12 years, I don't know if she's ever made a song as great as Never Be Alone. Holy shit, the vocals on this song. Wow, it's like she's gonna eat you. A big shout out to Sonny Fodera as well, one of the better mainstream anonymous DJs who've come up in recent years. Ditto what I said about, you know, the 1980s, and this song has been growing on me more and more as I listen to the ranking more and more. It is probably too low, but either way, you know, it's nice to have like a top 20 with no like big old legacy hits in it, which is what ended up coming to fruition. I've heard that Mitski is a very quiet artist who doesn't get involved in the fame or celebrityhood, so that definitely would have played into the fact that she never got a hit before, despite her career spanning so long and getting famous mostly off algorithm selection, review sites and word of mouth. This song may play a bit more to a certain slightly more TikTok friendly audience than her other songs, so that could explain its chart success, but it's still a great track. Weird to say, I'd actually never heard this song in full until this year. Like, maybe it's just that this song wasn't as big in the UK ever. This is the first official year Alyssa ever made. It essentially got caught between years. But I'd only ever heard this song once before, and that was in some dumb as hell Vine meme from 10 years ago.
Before you open up the dirty window, the sun made the words that you cannot find.
So I sat down, I listened to it the first time in 2025, and I kind of just fell in love with it.
No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else.
Our self-empowerment anthem's a little tired at times, absolutely, but this is like so uplifting. Whilst I've never found this song's instrumental all that interesting, the subject matter absolutely is. That's what really makes her a gem, I think. Like, if she is quote-unquote saving pop music, that's how she's saving it, by making it lyrically interesting.
To you I'm just a man, to me you're all I am with.
It failed to make the list in 2022, failed to make it in 2023, but here it is in 2024, Something in the Orange by Bryan, one of the biggest hits of the year.
I'm remembering, I promise to forget you now.
But anyway, if you want to hear a song that's a little better, that's also about a massive fuck up dude, one who Bryan specifically doesn't want you to have sex with, here you go.
When I'm in the club, yeah, I'm doing that. When I'm at the house, yeah, I'm doing that.
A video like this may make you think that I'm not really on the Charlie XCX hype train, and I'm not really. I've kind of got weird feelings about her and her image and how she relates to the actual underground music in the UK. But she can make a great song when she wants to. As much as I thought most of the hits that she had this year were bad and definitely the worst on their albums, at least she got one song that scraped into being eligible, which I think is just incredible.
Push my hair back, look hot when I'm. No, I really don't stop when I'm.
365, the bookend, 360, follows a song where she questions whether she should have a kid or not, which is my favourite song on the album. And this song shows that she's not going to. A completely delusional, overly hard-hitting song that just gets crazier and crazier. and then the drop hits, and it's the most ugly, disgusting drop imaginable. And it works because of that. Now, I always worry that I'm putting words into an artist's mouth when I do these kind of like bigger than that type of review, but I have sought out what she said, and it is pretty similar to what I'm saying here. So yeah, most of the Brat singles weren't great, most of the Brat hits weren't great, but this one definitely was.
Florida is one hell of a drug. Florida.
Bash, 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 love it. Okay, so the point that drum and bass is mainstream, it's been made. Messy in Heaven was one of the biggest songs of 2023, Down Under one of the previous year, but still the success of this one makes absolutely no sense.
Anyway, we see them, we are bang.
Because those songs, they hit hard, but they had hooks, they were still pop friendly. This one features vocals from underground acts who have had the most minor success before this, and two DJs who only had one other hit the year that it came out, and were both far more pop friendly, and yet this was in the top 20 for 5 straight months. How does that happen?
Badder than, bad from me bad. Where you get your mother from, thing where me get.
This is a real underground type classic. 3 blokes trying to compete with each other to see whose low vocals will bulldoze the listener harder on top of one of the punchiest instrumentals Boo has ever made. I don't even know why Chase and State is accredited, but I'm not complaining much. This is one of the best instrumentals they've ever been a part of.
Yo, walk with the rapper pam pam. From a guy this day program.
The lyrics are, who fucking cares about the lyrics? All that matters is that this is unusually hard for a top 10 single. And I don't care that actual drum and bass heads turn their noses up at it, because yes, it did get big through TikTok, yada yada. But just imagine this in context of pop music, when is yeah, to say it grew on me is an understatement. This been this big. A song where Taylor Swift attacks her own camp? I understand that this one's actually linked to Who's Afraid of Little Old Me. It's why I decided to give that song a bit more of the benefit of the doubt. This is really peculiar, you know. She's never really spoken up much about how her fans have done horrible things to people just for like slighting her in any way. And here she is calling them a bunch of wine mums. Unfortunately, Jack Antonoff's production is like lacking as per usual, which is why I don't fully connect to it. It's just not as energetic as it should be, but yeah, great song. But my favorite one from the album, a song where Antonoff's production actually does hit. This is their best song by far. The one with the Marina and the Diamonds inspiration comes through the clearest. Just a real, like, loving track. The one big exception for Irish dance music on the charts, that it's actually really good. If you're new here, I reserved the number 11 spot for songs I either like or respect a lot more than I think I should. It's more than plausible that the song was just created as some silly love song for the Ibiza crowd, yet to me it's a painfully devastating, unhealthy love bomb from someone with a dangerous and vulnerable addiction to a lover behind one of the most enthrallingly dark instrumentals to hit the dance charts in years. I got a bit of support from my interpretation, so you can watch the winter ranking if you want a more in-depth analysis of the lyrics, but now I can play the song. Can I please go off on how amazing it sounds? It has this catchy, simple keyboard line on this ghostly setting with all these spacey reverb effects around the back. The best sounding kick drum of the year. It's super firm but doesn't overpower the mix. Both these artists are never going to have it hit again, but I'm glad they managed to get us some truly great trance on the charts this year. Okay, here's the top 10, and every song I'm going to talk about has been a hit over the past like 2 to 3 years, nothing that old that's left in this ranking. And we're going to kick off with one of the best hits of 2025. The first few times I heard Messy, I thought it was fine. I just thought it was a bit too similar to a lot of those annoying I Hate You breakup songs that we got like in the start of 2022. And it's easy to see why someone could think that, but this is much better for two main reasons. The first is that the tone isn't like overly angry, it's very like frustrated. With its soft rock instrumental and Lola's very like kind of tepid tone of voice, it gives off frustration more than bitter anger, and that's like a new kind of emotion for this type of song. But what really makes this, I think, really good is that it's pretty clear that the protagonist is also a piece of shit as well. Like, it's not clear in the chorus, which points out hypocrisy for most of it, but it is clear that the guy's an ass. But Lola Young can't hide how she's also, I mean, she is messy, drinks too much.
It's just one bottle of wine or two, but hey.
Starts off the song by saying, you know I'm impatient. She's an asshole. They're both assholes. And I think, you know, like everyone could go on about how Sabrina Carpenter sums up modern day relationships with their music, but this sums it up even better. Everyone just fucking hates each other. I had no interest in Lola Young when she broke out. I remember she was one of the contestants on BBC's Introducing back in like 2022, funnily enough. And she never really got that hit, but now she's definitely worked on her craft. This kind of mature, well-written type of song isn't coming from any other of the big female artists right now, so I'd be glad to see her have more hits going forward. This was the only song that really made me miss the UK when travelling, but that's probably because it sounds like a big British music festival. It sounds like sitting on the grass around other people all dressed up whilst the few and far between August sun beats down on you and your friends spending quality time together while eating overpriced scran and drinking an overpriced beer. Also kind of sounds like the 1975. It's got the synths, keyboards, C major pianos. It's basically the 1975 song with a house thump underneath it. But there's also a lot more different from that, which is why it's so high. I like Fred Again because I like mainstream house music, okay? And that's what Fred Again makes. But here's a mainstream piano house song that doesn't really sound like any other mainstream piano house songs that I've heard before. The weird choice to have the mid-80s beatbox scatting sample over it. Oben Jair's interesting kind of weird vocals on the top. It all comes together so well, though.
I want this to last forever. Let's live in the moment.
I'd always wondered if my appreciation of MK was just from his legacy status or if he was actually good. Because realistically, he's not a particularly inventive producer. And if people think he's on the same level as Joel Corey or David Guetta, then how exactly am I going to disagree with that? Well, in 2023, he released Asking, which is genuinely one of the best dance pop songs of the decade and the best thing he's been a part of since Look Right Through, possibly even more. Came at the right time as well. Like, I was starting to get a little burnt out on the retro pastiche production style of mainstream dance hits, despite how much I liked them. But then comes along this much more modern production sound, and it trumped pretty much almost all of those songs. The entire first minute and 20 seconds of Asking is pure perfection. You've got these beautiful synth chords going back and forth in volume and frequency as the song builds. Clementine Douglas shines with the most apt and rustic croaky vocal tone, one of the best vocal performances on the entire list, bar none. As she bounces off this extremely catchy vocal shots behind her, and then you think the drop comes in, but you then get this sort of breakbeat type percussive part that actually builds up to the actual drop, and when it hits, with all that build up, it hits so much harder than it should. Because that's what MK's so great at. His compositions have such well-controlled minimalism. Because yeah, this is a rather simplistic drop, but it's almost donk-like and hits extremely hard.
Man, am I the greatest? My congratulations, all my love and patience.
Here's Hit Me Hard and Soft's Happier Than Ever, and it's about as good, especially with that time signature fuckery. Oh, of course I like this one. I love Sam Fender, and his guest verse definitely improves the song.
I don't want you ever to forget about us in the front seat, listening to songs that made you think about me.
I don't expect anyone else to agree with me when I say that Forget About Us was the best pop song from this year. In a year this stacked with pop music, but yeah, this is the best pop song of this year. To me, everything about this song is absolutely perfect. I've always thought Perry was the best vocalist in Little Mix. The production is 80s inspired, but it's kind of different enough that I appreciate it. It doesn't sound stale. And every fucking lyric, it just hits.
Bonfire smoke on your hoodie that I stole from your flat.
Like, you know that bonfire smoke smell, it never rubs off. Brilliant detail. Her best song to date.
Don't actually know if this is the best hit song of 2024. At the end of the day, it all comes down to a matter of how to frame great music. I think there are problems with the song, quite a few, but it's done something no other song that has charted maybe ever has done. It has gone so far past itself that it's come to mean something more. And even though I don't normally consider cultural impact outside of starting sonic trends in my assessment of music, this one was so unignorable and something I supported so much that I felt like I was kidding myself by not calling it the best hit of 2024.
Mustard on the beat, ho, Debo, any rap nigga, he a freak throw, man down, call her Amber Lambs, tell him breathe, bro.
Not Like Us is a West Coast hip-hop banger that DJ Mustard assembled in literally 30 minutes. Its bass is mixed way too loud and it sees Kendrick make a lot of tentatively credible accusations that Drake is a pedophile, and even though it is a diss track, it's ended up transcending this to be a full-on global movement and honestly statement of defiance against shitty music.
Certified lover boys, certified pedophiles. Wop, 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 wop.
Now, despite my rants on Discord, I wouldn't be overly confident calling Drake a pedo, but I think he's likely a bit of a creep.
And you know, even if Drake is apparently as nice as Millie Bobby Brown said that he is, he still deserves to be taken down for this video alone.
I rarely celebrate anything. Just for anyone watching this that's wondering how this happened, it's being so unsure how you're getting it done that you just kind of keep going in the hopes of figuring out the formula.
In what world is that legal? Using a "because I never gave up" mantra in advertising a gambling site. That would be like a beer commercial that says you need to consume 6 to 8 fluids a day, so you gotta drink a lot of beer every day.
But in a musical event on this scale, Not Like Us became the story of 2024, and the more I heard it, the more it made me just so happy. Not just when listening to it, but being there to witness it unfold and continue to unfold in all of its reckless glory. It didn't save rap, but it let us see the potential mainstream rap has in being sharp, witty, and just all around fun as hell. I didn't even talk about the video last time, but it's just so funny and fun. And look, I'm not and likely never will be part of the culture, but I can just appreciate what a beautiful moment it is from a distance. And it's just such a great listen front to back. And as a white guy, I can only really chant along about half of the lyrics, but those lyrics are incredibly sticky. Those weedy strings are so simple, but immediately make me feel some kind of way. Kendrick's performance is absolutely insane. That bit where he switches up his flow to the more aggressive one in the middle of the song.
That name gotta be registered and placed on neighborhood watch. I lean on you niggas like another line of walk. Yeah, it's all eyes on me and I'ma send it up the pot.
Oh, amazing. And you know, considering all the shit people Drake hangs out with, this isn't just the middle finger to him, but what his core audience has become, and he's never made a song this good. As 2024 has become 2025, this track has continually been the most relevant piece of music out now. Drake sued Kendrick's label, and I'm not 100% sure I know how to feel about that, because he did get everyone to call him a pretty defaming term, but this could be a blurred lines level outcome for music freedom if he wins. Also sued him for using bots, which, yeah, good luck with that. The song went on to hit #1 in the UK after the Super Bowl, which is just fucking hilarious to me. An event most people don't even watch here, calling someone a colonizer hitting #1 in the colonizer capital. And Kendrick's strange business decisions, collaborating with Playboi Carti, have continually made this song an odd one to think about. Unfortunately, despite what a huge effort Kendrick put up to destroy Drake's career, he bounced back with an album that didn't do as well as his previous records, but well enough to have some impact, plus another hit song where he calls himself a hoe like 3 times.
How many hoes in this club? Is it just me and you, my love? I don't mean to call you no hoe. I just heard about the things that you do, my love. And you're just like me if it's true, my love. How many hoes in this club? Is it really just me, my love?
Like, no, that's not funny. You can't play into the joke when you got so offended you sued over it, you OV hoe. Who knows how Not Like Us will age, but it cemented itself as one of the most culturally important pieces of music of my lifetime, and it's been my favourite thing about charting music for over a year.
We'll get in your car and you'll leave to kiss me. We'll talk for hours and lie on the backseat.
Kenya Grace has become one of the best one-hit wonders of all time. Everything about this song is perfect. The cute atmospheric production with enough of a grounded drum and bass backing to keep it engaging, the wispy British vocals that are intimate but not cloyingly so, and of course the subject matter. A tale of how hookup culture actually sucks and the damage mindless fucking can have on anyone.
It's something that I hate, how everyone's disposable. Every time I date somebody new, I feel vulnerable.
For such a pop song, I'm amazed with how novel this is. It's relatable, it's easy to follow, but it's also got some real poignant lyrics. Each new guy just melds into each other. There's no humanity there. Every new person is all been there, done that, and there's an emphasis on the complete lack of trust Kenya Grace feels in these situations. I once randomly praised a Cadet song on this channel called Slut, which I immediately regretted because it's just a guy trying to make a song about how having a lot of sexual partners is bad actually, but in the end it's 4 minutes of some guy bragging about his sex life, and it doesn't really feel like he actually thinks it's that bad of a thing, he just wants to show off. This actually does encapsulate the dreaded loneliness of having a decent sized dating pool but not being able to find someone who actually wants to keep up any kind of meaningful interaction, and they did it with like 1/10 of the words.
Only spoke for months. What did you ever mean? How can they say that this is love when it goes like this? Get your car.
This song is already quite highly praised, but I still think it's underrated for how truly great it is. Kenya Grace hasn't been able to recapture that lightning in a bottle. Also, other songs just aren't as good.
All the nights in summertime, I was yours and you were mine. We were young, I was dumb. Now you're happy and you moved on.
Wow, what poetry. So it's a fluke, but I'm incredibly grateful for it. She may not be as compelling as the obvious inspiration Pink Pantheress, but it's one of the most perfect number ones of the entire 2020s. Okay, I'll admit it. I was wrong. I was so wrong.
Sleezing and teasing, I'm sitting on him. All of my diamonds are dripping on him. I met him at the bar, I was 12 or something.
For anyone who pays a lot of attention to the top 20 rules that I had, you may have noticed that I should have given this song a review back in like December 2022, as it was the only song in the top 20 that I hadn't talked about for that week, as Christmas stuff pushed all the stuff from the autumn ranking out. And I was going to talk about the song in a solo review, but in the end I just never got around to it because over the process of script writing I went on a complete trip, pawning over each line and constantly changing my views and opinions on the content. I eventually couldn't keep up and gave up on what was literally a 10-page script, and at that point it hit me that Escapism becoming a #1 hit was not just a significant event, but was quite possibly the best thing to happen to the #1 spot ever. I certainly think it's the best #1 of the century so far. I mean, what's better than this? Running Up That Hill? Better than that. Somebody that I used to know? I mean, maybe if it didn't sample Bar Bar Black Sheep it would have a chance. Feel the Love, Nice for What, Sweet Nothing, Welcome to the Black Parade. Yes, it's better than all of those songs. The only #1 that comes close is Stand by Eminem, but I will never be able to hear that song the same way I did the first time. But Escapism still surprises me with how great it is hundreds upon hundreds of listens later. Every time I go back to it, there's something about the story or sound that I missed the previous time.
The man that I love sat me down last night and he told me that it's over, done decision.
This song is not a breakup song like it is on the surface. The X means nothing, he is barely brought up. Escapism is about relapse. The title is almost ironic, because it's presented as a woman escaping heartbreak with a wild night out, but in actuality it's someone who has failed to escape her abuse and addiction problems at the very core.
Back to the intro, back to the bar, to the Bentley, to the hotel, to my old way. Back to my ways like 2019.
Ray keeps hinting at this episode of drug addiction that she had back in the past. A stint that she's fallen back into. An unhealthy cycle that she never truly escaped. And really this guy was just another one of the many drugs Ray has taken. The song is messy in a way that you never hear from a female pop artist, and people have criticised it for not being different enough, but that's bullshit. The Weeknd, Bad Bunny, they've done similar song topics before, but they're men. And having this song concept sung by a woman does make a world of difference. And it's not much of a surprise that the only song we've really had come close to this before was Tove Lo's Stay High, which was 10 years ago. Escapism is a song about being girly but unwomanly, too messy but coming through so fucking clean. It's an art. The song is like a midway between Heartless by The Weeknd and Bored Slippy by Underworld, more detailed and better constructed than the former, but less abstract and more coherent than the latter. And as great as Ray is on the song, it's 070 Shake playing Ray's drunk, distorted self-conscious, which makes this one of the best songs of all time.
The felt last night. Yeah, peace with the things you can't change.
In the context of a song where you're in this kind of state, that line just hurts with how cripplingly sad it is. This is a state that she just can't change without making peace with the fact that she really has a deep-seated problem. And she has to come to terms with the fact that this imperfect, embarrassing mess is who she is, or she'll be stuck escaping this maze until the very end of her life. This was a #1 hit. It was on 2 year-end lists. And songs this poignant and unstructured never reach that level of success. It's not even a palatable, easy listen. It's a disgusting, lived-in story with a partly slurred vocal delivery, and one of the most unlistenable synthesizers in history.
I met him at the bar, I was 12 or something. I ordered 2 more wines, cause tonight I want it.
And no shit, it's often hard to listen to, so is the song topic. And despite the headache-inducing externality that's causing the pain, it's also quite hard to not resist the temptation to dance. The track is held together by that extremely groovy trip-hop drum beat and a familiar chord sequence with a pretty uplifting rise, and it's ultimately Ray that made the song not just her own, but a hit. Because not only is she a great writer free from the chains of polydor bullshit,
Sleazing and teasing, I'm sitting on him.
but her slurred, off-putting opening lines, then contrasting with the explanation of her situation,
A little context if you care to listen. I find myself in a shit position.
with one of the best syncopated rap flows we've had on the charts in forever.
A heartbroken bitch, high heels, 6 inch in the back of the nightclub, sipping champagne.
It's an effortless performance. And this is the same woman who started her mainstream career as a disposable Rihanna sound-alike, and 6 years later is now shown the qualities of an all-time, one-of-a-kind artist. And it's who she really was from the beginning. And there's so much going on in the song beyond the surface. It's embarrassing, overt, depressing, vulgar, cocky.
If I take a step back to see the glass half full, at least it's the Prada 2-piece that I'm tripping in. And I'm already acting like a dick, know what I mean? So you might as well stick it in.
Top 10 one-liner of the decade. Like the best music, it's hard to put into words the complete emotional roller coaster it puts you through. The final chorus is such a pain scream, with the drum beat clipping the mix and strings really playing up. And then the song just collapses in on itself. The night repetition going ear to ear, the chord sequence switch up, Ray's delivery coming very like distraught, despondent, exhausted.
I don't know where the fuck I am or who's driving the fucking car speeding.
And then the song just ends.
I remember nothing, so there's nothing to regret. Other than this 4/4 kick drum pounding in my head.
In a very unsatisfying way, like it deserves to, because there's no happy ending. As we enter the second half of the 2020s, we're experiencing incredibly daunting times for popular music. The headlines have been dominated with fears of generative AI taking over, but it would still be difficult even without that looming threat. There's more competition than ever as people have far more access to music making software. Streaming charts are dominated by old songs, whether that be forgotten tracks that catch on randomly, but mostly classic songs that everyone knows. And record labels are far more interested in investing in back catalogues and buying them from both old and new artists than actually promoting new artists beyond maybe one viral single if they're lucky. Back in the old days, you just needed to have a talent for making music and people from the label will do the rest for you to sell records. Now, artists don't just have to be talented at music, but need to be far more talented at marketing and self-promotion with far more limited resources, and all to earn a meager fraction of what they would have got 30ish years ago from the actual music. This is just reality. And it seems almost impossible to keep people hooked when they're going to discover your music from a brain rot TikTok video. But by spreading from the biggest label in the UK and taking that huge risk, it resulted in her first and to date only #1 hit, and one of the best and most artful pop songs I've ever heard. And that's yet another reason why Escapism is one of the best songs I've ever heard. Ray did not need, care, or seem destined for another hit when she joined the independent Human Resources. I was dead convinced we'd never hear from her again, especially as her first two far more commercially viable singles never took off. It's an amazing story, the kind that sounds like a struggling artist's deluded fantasy. But it's reality. I theorise that with artists having less label workers looking over them, the true ones who do music because they love it are taking bigger risks and bigger swings, with unconventional song topics and song structures. I harbour some frustrations with popular music as I always do, but popular music now is unquestionably better than it was when I was an early teenager 10 years ago. Nostalgia is a poison, so that may not seem like it to other people my age, but I don't believe you can look at the year-end top 10 for 2013 and tell me it's better than the year-end top 10 for 2023 without bias. A career in music is a bet on a losing horse, but those who stick at it are reaping unexpected rewards and helping to build up a renaissance of amazing pop music against an industry that does not care. Long live great pop music.